What up, Bulls Nation? We are back. Show number 2 today. CHGO Bulls live 2025 draft round 2 tonight. The Bulls earlier today traded down from 45 to 55 with the Lakers. Jerry needs that cash. Will they stay at 55 and make a selection or make another trade? Let's find out together next. What is going on, Bulls Nation? Welcome in to CHGO Bulls Draft Day Live Part 2. Presented by our friends at Sunnyside. Visit sunnyside.shop and provide buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Just use that promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside.shop. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 and older. And, of course, Illinois Med Card holders. What is up? Peck, Bulls_Peck. That's big day. Bow. BAWL Sports. Bam. Will the Goat Gottlieb still perfectly coiffed at the end of day 2 of draft week. And, of course, Queen of the Controls, Katie Duffy. Hey, Katie. You got your mic back.
I got my mic back. Yay.
Shout out to everybody who was with us earlier today in our normal 4 o'clock slot talking about the Mark Eversley press conference from last night. Our pal Will Perdue is here with us. Shout out if you're just joining us for the first time today. Hello and appreciation to you as well. Hit that like button if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. Throw us a super chat if you're feeling inclined. Make sure you're also, of course, subscribed to that CHGO Sports YouTube channel if you aren't already, as we climb ever closer to 85,000 subscribers on that CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Appreciate each and every one of you. Gentlemen, night 2. We've already had a Bulls-related trade about night 2 earlier today. The Shams bomb heard around the world that the Bulls and Lakers struck themselves a deal. The Bulls, who were slotted at 45th coming into tonight's second round picks, trading down to the Lakers spot at 55 for some cash.
Yeah.
Everybody needs a little walking around money.
Nobody in that front office is walking anywhere. Them dudes are in the nicest cars and golf carts
I was gonna
available.
Say, do you think they go between the Advocate Center and the United Center in golf carts?
Oh, you better believe it.
I would love to see that.
There's no walking. Are you kidding me? Scooters, there's all that stuff. But yeah, that's the trade. That's what happened. Down at 55. I don't know. Maybe they say whoever they want will be available at that time. I'm sure they happy to get that, like you said, walking around money, very happy to get cash. So they basically sold that pick to the Lakers, a team that I remember them saying, we never want to trade with the Lakers. Wait, cash? It changes things. So, yeah, they got their money. We'll see what they do at 55, man, and what's there.
Tony Moy in the comments, will Jerry trade for more cash? Fine day. Guys, no matter what happens tonight, I just hope the Bulls get more cash. I like that Bulls fans can always seem to have at least a little sense of humor when it comes to these cash considerations trades.
Laugh to keep from crying, man.
Exactly. It's like we all know that we're usually salty about these kinds of trades. When what are the Bulls getting in this trade?
Cash.
Oh, cash? Well, Bulls fans ain't seeing any of that cash.
None.
Where's this cash going?
I like what Melissa said. At least put it towards cup holders.
Yeah.
In the UC. Please. How about do that? Put it towards that. Maybe put the jersey in the rafters now. That dude is a legend. Cash considerations is a legend. Hang it right next to D-Rose.
It's a tradition.
What was the old line? They're getting equity with ownership when Garden Packs used to do this.
Oh, man.
I feel like
they're high on cash considerations.
It's like
not as high as they are on Paul Zipser, though, Dave.
The 45th pick is like not a great second round pick. There's usually not a lot of value there, although I believe last year's runner-up in Rookie of the Year, Jalen Wells, was the 45th overall pick. So it's possible. But this year, a lot of guys went back to school. NIL basically gave these guys a lot of money to come back to school where they had guaranteed money and more runway on the court. So that thinned out the second round pool. And so, like, it's possible that they just could have kept 45 and not gotten anything with it. And that would have been a bummer, but like whatever. So trading down 10 picks to get another guy that probably would be just as impactful plus some cash, fine. Not like an offensive thing, but I will say like the optics are not great. This is something that this team has done time and time and again in the past. And like it hasn't turned into anything because whereas you see other teams trading multiple second round picks to move up or packaging multiple second round picks to move into the first round or kicking the can down the road and getting 2 second, like the Bulls traded 2 future second round picks to move up to 35 to draft Julian Phillips a couple years ago. They could have gotten additional assets to move forward with, even if it wasn't somebody that was going to be in this draft. Like you need bites at the apple. And I think part of it is what Mark Eversley was talking about last night, that 12 players coming back on the roster next year. You've got to sign Josh Giddey, and you already drafted Noah Essengay. So that's 14 out of 15 roster spots. You want to have some flexibility open, but like maybe you could have traded a future second round pick or 2 to move up to 32 or 33. The 31st pick was just traded to the Suns. There's a lot of good players here at the top of the second round that I really like. Maxime Reynaud, somebody that we talked about a bunch, I thought was a first round pick. Ryan Kalkbrenner, Rasheer Fleming is like that will be the 31st pick.
Right.
That's
Who
like
I didn't.
what
Shams already
about.
basically say that's who they're taking at 31 is Rasheer Fleming.
Exactly. And so like there is value to be had in these second rounds. And okay, you don't like anybody there. You want to move back and get some cash, fine. But like you could have gotten 2 second round picks in the future and then maybe package those to move up in a future second round draft. And it's just like, it's a short-sighted like approach. Bad process to me, even though it's not like an offensive outcome. Like I'm not like they passed on like, I don't know, some random player who's like not really going to make an impact because they don't have enough roster spots. Like I get it, but it's just like they could have done better with this.
Yeah, I agree. They bulled.
Yeah. Another reminder, so Katie doesn't bother you for the next 2+ hours, hit that like button if you're hanging out with us on YouTube. Throw us a super chat. And, of course, also take advantage of that Die Hard sale going on right now. Now is the time to sign up. Just $36 for your first year. Basically pays for itself when you get that first free T-shirt of your choice. 20% off every single time you shop at the CHGO merch locker after that. Access to our Die Hard Discord where there's fun, engaging conversations with your fellow Chicago Die Hard fans happening all the time, day and night, and then access to all of the great writing and reporting from our great troop of reporters here at CHGO, including that guy right there, Will Gottlieb. You could have been taking advantage of that Die Hard draft guide.
He's good.
All month long.
Speaking of Will Gottlieb, should we take a look at his best available for the second round here?
Let's do it, Katie, as we are waiting for round 2 to kick off.
Oh, much better suit, Shams. Well done.
Yes, right?
Way
I don't know
better.
what his suit and tie combo yesterday
What
was.
was your deal yesterday?
I don't know.
remember what it was.
He looks great, though.
So
He
we
looks
got best
amazing.
available broken up between bigs, wings, and guards. And Goat, I know you just tossed out a few of those names. And we already got a tweet from Sham saying that it will be Rasheer Fleming at pick 31.
People wanted him at 12. I thought that was way too high.
Yeah.
I thought he was like a mid-20s pick.
Yeah.
But like 31, if you could like package 2 second round picks to move up for that, that would have been really good.
Yeah. I
Or
agree.
like Maxime Reynaud. I really like him. I think
I do
he's
too.
like a flawed prospect. He's older. He's not a great defender, but like the dude can really play. He can put the ball
play.
on the floor. He's 7 feet tall. He can shoot it.
Yeah.
Like that's the kind of center the Bulls theoretically want. They want the dribble, pass, shoot big. They have a couple on the board here. I don't really get moving on. And maybe they move back up or maybe I don't know. But it's just, it seems like same old Bulls process.
Yeah, I agree. Rocco is another one. Rocco Zikarsky. Big
the
7-footer.
Aussie faction of Bulls Nation.
Yeah.
Really want them some
Huge.
Rocco.
They love some Rocco, man. I like his game, and how he plays, and it fits the Bulls mold of going young, for sure. That's a very young man, 18 or 19 years old. But just a big fella, who can really play, like knows that he's a big fella and plays that way on the inside. Really solid rebounder, really good finisher also. And when you talk to him, it's in the same kind of mode I thought as Cedric Coward. Like when you talk to him, you instantly start to like him and how his approach to the game is. So, yeah, I like that young man. I think he'll be really good, and we'll see if he's there at that time. But I'm curious what the Bulls go after, like honestly, like after the trade and trading down, I have no clue what they are looking at and what they think that this team needs.
Kuya Cruz raps in the comments saying grab and stash Rocco. And that, that was something that Eversley addressed last night when you and your fellow beat members were talking to him, is that, and it was maybe even thought of, before last night and then today's trade, that they could go the draft and stash route just because of the current status of, you add Giddey, then you add Asenge with the first round pick, and you're all of a sudden at 14 picks. Using a 15th on the second rounder doesn't make as much sense.
Right.
But at the same point, these second round pick exceptions make these players so valuable. If they hit, you're getting production for $1.5 million a year. That's
right.
less than 1% of the salary cap.
Yeah.
These guys can be really useful. And so even if they're not great players, if you can get minutes, that's why the Suns are doing this. They're collecting second round picks now because they have $100 million tied up in Beal and Booker. And so when you do that, you need to have production in the late first round, early second round, where you get guys that can contribute on really cheap deals. And the Bulls just aren't doing that. And look, they don't have any of these huge contracts that they need to worry about, but it is a little bit strange. And for me, I would just be okay, you don't want to pick this year, get 2 picks next year.
Yeah.
Get a pick next year and the year after. There were options here, presumably, for them to do a little bit better than this. And again, it's not the end of the world, but it's just the process.
But that's what I was screaming about on our show at 4:00. In case you missed that one, I'm not enraged about them trading down. I'm enraged about them trading down for cash. If there were other offers from other teams besides the Lakers, who maybe would be willing to offer the Bulls 2 future seconds for their 1 second at spot 45 this year, because we've seen several other trades just like that transpire over the last couple days of teams swapping future seconds for a higher second or getting into the second this year, which seems to make more sense than giving up or trading down from your spot for cash. Yeah. And your point about those second round picks contracts, Goat, and making them useful in a tight salary cap situation. Just take, for example, Julian Phillips, who second round pick. Yes, his role on the team hasn't been immense so far. It grew this past season when they picked up his option. They already picked up his option for next season. And his contract money since getting drafted as a second rounder in 23-24, 1.6, 1.8, 2.2 this coming season, and a club option the season after that for 2.4. If that's a useful player on your roster with that money, that's what makes second round picks hypothetically very useful.
Yeah.
And I do think that this year's second round draft, because of the NIL stuff that we talked about, is notably weaker than previous years and then future years, right? Next year, presumably all those guys are going to come out, and some of the guys that were going to come out or that were going to go back don't. And so that next year, the second round could be really valuable. But again, then get an additional second round pick next year. That could have been something that they went for in this deal. I'd rather have one decent pick next year to add to your group than 55 this year in cash.
Yeah. It feels like they're operating like they're still in the 90s. This is a move a winning team makes, is what I mean. When you're trading down for cash, it's a moot point kind of move.
I'll pay the luxury
You know what I mean?
bill.
Who cares? You know what I mean? That's when you're a team that's winning and you make this move, nobody gives a damn. It's okay, great, cash. All right, we're 55. Who are we going to get? Nobody gives a crap. We're trying to win. We're going to go to the playoffs and make another deep run and stuff like that. So that's how I feel like they're operating in this, which is obviously the wrong way to operate. Should be valuing these young players, getting more picks back, seeing what young players can fit on your team, just taking, as Go likes to say, getting more bites at the apple. To just have one bite and then say, I'm finished, is wild to me when your team hasn't been 500 in 3 years. It's just a wild situation. And like Go said, optically, it just doesn't look good. But it adds to the consistency of why Bulls fans get upset when they hear the words cash considerations.
And it adds to the consistent nature of the Bulls in whatever they're doing, which always screams to me the phrase narrow-minded.
Yeah.
When you're talking about multiple bites at the apple and saying, no thanks, I'm good with this one.
Just one bite.
You think back to Caruso for Giddey. Did they listen to multiple offers for Caruso? Before? No, you know what? What we want is Josh Giddey. We want him now. Here's Alex Caruso, player for player swap. Here we go.
Right.
And Mark Anderson in the chat just asked, it seems like they made that trade before they made an attempt to see what else was available, referencing earlier today's trade where they trade down with the Lakers. It was reported that the Bulls put like a word out to the entire league either last night or this morning. Hey, pick 45 is for sale. Welcoming all offers.
Right.
If that was in fact the case, cash from the Lakers, that's the offer you wanted? None of the other teams who were looking to get into tonight's second round action were throwing a couple of seconds your way, a couple of future seconds. Given all of the teams today that threw a couple of future seconds at a different team to get into the second round or higher in the second round, makes me feel like that's very hard to believe. Narrow-minded as hell.
It's a business move. It's not a basketball move.
Yeah, one more thing on this, just before we go to break here. Like, they could have drafted a player. They could have moved up and gotten another player. Like, waive Javon Carter. Or, like, trade some. Like, you don't have to, like, make these decisions to where you have no flexibility now for the rest of the year. You know a guy like Javon Carter is, like, not playing presently and he's not a part of the future.
Yeah.
Like, roster churn.
Can't flush that 6.8 mil, GOAT. You got to make that 6.8 work as a great teammate on the bench.
Then maybe they want to use 45 to attach to him to dump him on another team. Like, it's not creative at all. It's just like, we don't know what to do, so let's just take some cash.
Hooray. On that note, let's knock out our first couple ads. We will come back, dive into round 2 action. Plus, our pal Ricky O going to join us later on tonight's show to get his thoughts on the first round and what the Bulls are doing tonight. Hit that like button.
Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. It's your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality hydroponics in the city. They have everything you need to elevate your summer. It's your one-stop shop for all your cannabis needs. Sunnyside has an expertly curated menu with over 100 strains to choose from, plus easy online ordering and in-store pickup. Whether you're a pro or whether you're just starting out, Sunnyside has got you covered. Any way you want it, that's the way you need it. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Just use that code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusives apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only 21 and over, or Illinois Met card holders. But wait! For existing users, use that promo code CHGO50 for 50% off of one Cresco Labs brand item.
Today's show also brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. And hey, basketball might be over until Summer League, sad face, but that's okay. We still got baseball action to carry us through these summer weeks. And with the Bet365 early payout offer, you're a winner if your MLB team goes 5 runs ahead with an instant payout on straight bets and parlay selections marked as winners. Download that Bet365 app. Be sure to use promo code CHGO365 when you sign up, because when you do that, you're going to get $150 in bonus bets when you make your first $5 bet on your new account. Great news, win or lose that $5 bet, it doesn't matter. You're getting the $150 in bonus bets either way. So whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Must be 21 and older. If someone you know has a gambling problem, crisis counseling and referral services can be accessed by calling 1-800-GAMBLER in-app only. Rolling along here, CHGO Bulls Draft Day Live, Part 2 on Night 2 of the NBA Draft. Round 2 getting underway. We see a shot here of Rasheer Fleming on the broadcast. Minnesota on the clock with a minute to go. And he is the likely pick for them. The lower ticker reminder that they got Johan Beringer at pick 17 with their first action last night. As we wait for these picks to start coming in, Goat, and we're talking about these trades, I know you just touched on it on your hit on 670 The Score, Flex for Goat. The trade that did happen right after the Bulls last night in round 1, and a trade that maybe could have been a Bulls trade that didn't happen, because we heard Eversley say last night, we talked to 3 or 4 teams. We considered moving up. We considered moving down. But it was the team after the Bulls, the Atlanta Hawks, who cashed in big with that pick because the Pelicans wanted to trade up to take Derek Queen, who the Bulls passed on. And you kind of were wondering, was that same offer levied to the Bulls when they called AK at 12 when Queen was still on the board. And did the Bulls hypothetically turn that down? And if so, how do you read that?
Yeah, I mean, we will never know. We heard Eversley say during his media session yesterday that the Bulls were in conversations with a couple of other teams to move up, but once they got towards like the 9-10 range, they felt comfortable with who's going to fall to them. Maybe their board like really fell off after 13, 14, 15. That's kind of how my board was. And they just didn't feel like they wanted to take a risk there. But yeah, I mean, you have to imagine that the Pelicans, who used a future unprotected first-round pick, the better of their own and Milwaukee, which both of those could be in the lottery, if not top 10, top 5 next year, to move up to 13 for Derek Queen. Like, they really targeted him. And so I imagine that offer was on the table. And like for me, like I maybe would have just done 13 for that pick straight up, because there's a good chance that pick is better than 13 next year. But when you factor in the 23rd pick, where they took Asa Newell, I'm not a huge fan of Asa Newell, but like I know a lot of people are. He would have been a good pick there. But there's a lot of guys that went after that I think would have been perfectly fine players that could have helped them, could have been projects in the same way that Essenge is. I like Essenge. I think he's like a good player, but to me, it's like I'm not thinking about the draft as I'm like obsessed with this one guy, we have to go get him. It's like, where can I extract the most value? And so if that offer was on the table and they didn't take it, I think there's a huge missed opportunity.
Dave, what do you think? Missed opportunity if that same offer was there for AK at 12?
I don't like thinking about it.
Okay.
That's why I just shut up. I really don't like thinking about it, because if it's
hypotheticals that would only make you mad,
just makes me angry. Like, seriously, bro. Like, God, if they weren't involved in this and somebody offered them that and something that could help this Bulls future, like, it doesn't make sense when you're drafting a player for your future who is a project, but you turn down deals that can also help your future from this season and to next year.
Yeah.
And again, it's just upsetting to hear that kind of stuff. I don't want it to be true. I don't want that to be true at all. But yeah, man, hypothetically, if that's the case, Matt, and they said wouldn't even pick up the phone or listen to something like that because they're dead set on what they want to do, which it feels aligned with that stuff we've seen them do constantly over and over again.
Right.
Then yeah, man, I'll just be quiet.
Like the fact that the pick that the Pelicans gave up to move up is unprotected, and you're talking about that the Pels, and I'm not trying to just like trash on the Pelicans right now. They've got a lot of unanswered questions this offseason. What's their plan with Zion? Are they going to keep him? They're going to try and move him.
Right.
That's obviously, problem 1A, and then they got other roster stuff to figure out after that. But like, you think about the Western Conference, Utah, Portland, and then New Orleans.
Yeah.
Like, who's going to be those teams high up in the lottery standings as we reach March of 2026? No shade and no offense intended to the Pelicans, but they certainly seem like one of those Western Conference teams who's going to struggle being in the Western Conference.
Yeah.
And you're talking about that being a quality first-round pick that's unprotected and very possibly a high lottery pick that's unprotected.
And I think I
just want to say it's real. Shams is reporting a trade. Right now, the Boston Celtics are trading the number 32 pick to the Orlando Magic for number 46 and 57, a 2026 second rounder, and a 2027 second rounder.
All these teams throwing second-round picks around.
Yeah, man.
AK's like, no, thanks, cash, please.
Well, look, I mean, there's a difference between 46 and 32.
Please.
So the Bulls had 45. This offer could have potentially be available to them to move up 45 and 2 future second-rounders to get 32 if you wanted Noah Penda, who I think is a fringe first-round talent, Adu Tiero, Ryan Kalkbrenner, Maxime Reynaud. Like, that's a price that is pretty hefty. I don't know if I would feel super comfortable paying that, but also like the way that they seem to value second round picks, like you'd think that they would be comfortable trading a couple to move up if there was a guy that they felt convicted about. So, I'm not going to like blast them for not moving up. It's just, to me, if Eversley is going to get up on the podium last night and say like, we're going to build this organically, we're not going to skip steps, we're going to do internal development, like you got to bring in some resources. You got to
That part.
get guys. You got to invest in the draft. And to like basically throw away second round picks is just the opposite of that.
Here we go. Deputy Commish Mark Tatum at the podium. The pick is in 32.
How do you think a deputy act as a kid's name?
What do you mean?
Naming your kid deputy.
Oh, as like a first name?
Yeah.
At jail.
Jail?
Jail.
I like
And
it.
there it
I
is.
like it better than Cash.
Noah Penda going
Better than
at
Cash?
pick 32. A fellow French prospect.
Yeah.
It was like the Bulls' 12th pick, Noah Essengay, last night.
France representing in this
A lot
draft.
of French players.
Tons. Also, I mean, I don't know if you noticed, I'm wearing my BFF Joakim shirt today
We noticed.
because the Bulls drafted a Frenchman named Noah last night.
There it is. Do you have
I
a problem
don't-
with the H being off of it?
No.
Okay with
Because
that?
it's different.
Okay.
You know,
This Noah has an H.
this Noah has an H. That's fine.
Did you hear
Also,
that Essengay knows Joakim?
I did. I heard
Said
him
that during
mention
the
that
media?
in some interview he did last night, and it made me smile. Maybe my only smile last night.
Oh, my only
And he's not wearing 13. 24. Taking Javante's old number.
Yeah.
Tyrese
Which I'm
Thomas is
okay with.
You all right with that?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But, because he's a Frenchman whose name is Noah, and he knows and loves Noah, and they have a personal relationship, I would be much more happy with him wearing number 13 than,
Eastern Conference champion? Is that what you're talking about?
No, there has been a more recent 13 than Tony Bradley.
Young Velvet? That's what you getting on?
Yeah. Is Kevin Huerter still here?
Yeah, he's still here, man. He's still here. Yeah, I don't know. There it is. They're showing the French draft picks. There they are.
There you go.
Have been taken.
That's 4.
Let's see. Bulls, Timberwolves, Brooklyn, and now Boston.
And the first 3 in the top 20.
Yeah. Yeah.
3 Frenchmen in the top 20.
Yeah.
Woo, look at that jacket.
That
Oh, my
is-
God.
That is a heck of a jacket right there. All Tuesday guys, too.
It's looking like a Dick Tracy villain.
Yes, he is. Yo, that's real. Yo, for real. Shout out to him, man. Looks nice. I was, Con Knipple,
Yeah.
just to get on him for a second,
Let's not talk about the family names again.
because I feel like he can change the entire culture of that team. That dude is
Buzz City?
Yeah, he is different, man. Like, his mentality is different. That dude is one of those guys that I like that feels like he'd rather die than lose.
Yeah.
And he definitely has that mentality. And you're either going to get on board or not with that. Because if he's going out there and he can show he's the guy out there on the floor, then you're going to follow that guy right there. Then all the dance-offs, you know what I'm saying, all the cool party, all that stuff is going to end. And it just feels like he's that kind of person that can change the culture for the Hornets, man, because they need a culture change. Like, everybody's just getting rich and chilling right now in Charlotte, bro. Like, who wants to play ball? He feel like that dude who wants to play ball. And you're going to have to get behind that, man. And he's really good, you know what I'm saying, on top of that. So, yeah, I'm really excited to watch him in Charlotte because it's honestly there for the taking. Like, LaMelo Ball had the chance to get it. He wants it, but he doesn't really want it. You know what I mean? Like, because his body keeps letting him down, you know what I'm saying, as far as the injuries and things are concerned, and doesn't really have the guys around him. But when you got this kind of dude right here, it don't matter who you got around him, bro. He's playing hard every single night, and that is stuff you can get behind all the time, especially with a young team searching for an identity.
Sure is. All right, with the Hornets on the clock now here in round 2, pick 33, let us knock out a couple more ads. We'll come back on the other side, and hopefully we'll be joined by our pal Ricky O'Donnell of SB Nation. Hit the like button. Come on.
Making money moves should be just like Katie Duffy. Smooth, cool, and solid. And simple. And that's why there's Cash App, ladies and gentlemen. There's no extra hoops to jump through. There's no extra stress. There's no woozies. And for the love of the GOAT, there are no wazies. And for a limited time only, new Cash App users can use this exclusive code to get some additional cash. For real, it's no catch. Download the Cash App, sign up, use this code CHGO Bulls in your profile, send $5 to a friend within 14 days, and you'll get $10 dropped right into your account like kerplunk. Terms apply. That's money. That's Cash App.
Today's show also brought to you by Potawatomi Casino Hotel, Milwaukee. Let's talk about your next weekend escape. Maybe you're just next big night out. Because either way, Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee has everything you need right there in one spot. We're talking thousands of the latest slots and table games. Who needs Vegas? It's right there. It's Milwaukee. Ready to refuel? Tons of amazing restaurants and bars for you to choose from, whether you're feeling fancy or you just want a quick bite. They've got you covered. You don't even have to leave the property. Stay in style at their luxury hotel, just steps away from what many call the Midwest's very best sports book. Maybe you're heading to a ball game this summer. Start your day right at Potawatomi, hit the sports book, then head out to the ballpark. It's all right there, super convenient. Milwaukee's got a full summer lineup, not just the baseball games, but concerts, festivals, all that and more. You name it, they got it. Potawatomi, the perfect home base for all of it. Potawatomi Casino Hotel Milwaukee, your win is waiting. So go check it out. And we're back, rolling along CHGO Bulls, Draft Day Live. Night 2, hanging out. Will Gottlieb, Big Dave, Peck. Our queen of the controls, Katie Duffy, as the Hornets pick is in at 33. Here comes Tatum back to the podium. What do we got, Hornets? What do we got?
That's a cool face, like
Sion
a
James.
pleasing face.
Sion James,
right
another
out of Duke.
Dookie.
This
so
was
is that for Duke?
Look, man. Okay, this was one of my favorites at the combine. Also,
Yeah.
this dude was a goon. Is a goon. Another guy from Duke going in there to Charlotte. I love the physicality that he plays with. He's also not scared, man, to get in there and mix it up. Great leadership, I thought, also as well. Another really hard worker. On top of that, man, I like what they're building right now in Charlotte with these picks.
When you say goon, do you mean like on the court goon? Where were you watching it and then
on the floor goon,
Yeah.
like tough, bro, like super tough, ain't taking no guff from nobody, man, like and strong and can play, like for sure. I like him, man.
And he teams up with Khan.
Yeah, teams back up with Khan, man. So yeah,
Love it.
I like him. I like him a
they're
lot.
gonna get themselves like the new age Nova NBA teammates? But they got some work to do to reach where
They
the
got to
Knicks
get
have
Cooper
been.
somehow.
Yeah, fair point.
Katie, I heard a jingle.
Still happen.
Do we have a sidebar Ricky that we can bring in? Let's do it. Hey, it's our pal, the one and only NBA, college, draft, all that great content. Directing editor over there at SB Nation. Follow him, SBN_Ricky, for all of his takes, all of his content, whether it be draft prep, draft analysis, or his wonderful veiled shots and not so veiled shots at the Bulls' organizational failures. Ricky, how are you, buddy? Thanks for joining us.
What's going on, boys? Thanks for having me. Happy second day of the draft. And yeah, a lot less excitement after the Bulls went back to their roots and decided to make some cold, hard cash.
Oh, dude. By the way, congratulations to you and your pal and co-host, Jason Pat, of the Cash Considerations podcast. I mean, were you guys doing cartwheels when you saw that Shams tweet?
The free advertising hits like every other year at this point, so we're lucky to have it. You know, it was all part of the grand plan when I made Jason name our podcast Cash Considerations.
Can you talk to us about this trade, man? Like, what do you think the Bulls are thinking making this kind of move outside of, hey, there's some free money, hand that to us?
I think the free money is the biggest thing. There's no doubt about that. And then, probably they're going to say that they have a full roster and that they want to retain everyone on the current roster who's up as a free agent this summer. So I think the Bulls are just tapping out of this one. More cynically, I would say they don't work that hard to scout. It doesn't seem like they exactly have a long list of guys for this front office either. Going back to the time when John Paxson said their board dried up by the time, I think, what was it, the number 39 overall pick they sold back in the day that turned into Jordan Bell. Hey, I guess that one didn't burn the Bulls, but not great process. And this one seems like not great process too, but to me, this is a thin draft in the first place because so many guys went back to school for big NIL bags. I guess I won't kill the Bulls for it. It's kind of like a whatever to me, but yeah, more of the same from what we've come to expect.
What do you, I'm not even sure they're going to make this pick at 55, but I'm not going to lie. My draft scouting stopped somewhere around 39 too, because I knew that was, how the Bulls like to do it. So who is at 55? Is there anybody there that you think would be a good pick, or do you just think they're going to just toss or sell the pick?
Yeah, I mean, they have a few international guys who I think could be interesting because they might draft and stash the pick. So the one guy I'd bring up is Rocco Zikarsky, 7'3" Australian center. I thought he could be a pretty good prospect, potentially a lottery prospect coming into the season. He just didn't really develop playing in the Australian Pro League, but 7'3", good shot blocker, rim protector. You're not sure what you're going to get from him offensively, though he has taken a few 3-pointers over the last year. But if you're going to draft and stash, he seems like a legitimate bet because this really isn't a deep class of international guys this year.
Waiting here for the next team on the clock. I saw your chat with Jared Payton and Josh Friedman. Shout out to our other pals over there for WGN, and your take on Essengay with that 12th pick. Relay what you can to us about, like, you know, where he was for you, because I know you said, like, hey, AK didn't screw this pick up. Is there somebody else you would have preferred they take at 12? Like, they passed on Derek Queen. A lot of Bulls fans aren't thrilled about that, but where do you feel about the pick they made as far as, like, grading it out?
Yeah, I had Essengay as the highest rated player on my board when the Bulls took him. I had him number 10 overall. They got him with the 12th pick. I had Derek Queen at number 11, Kasparis Yakichonis at number 12, Jace Richardson at number 13. I would have been fine with any of those guys. So it's kind of hard to ask me who I would have taken. I guess I would have taken Essengay because that's who I had highest rated on my board. It's going to be a fascinating pick, man, because, you know, in 2037, this guy will have just turned 30 years old. It's hard to believe how young he is. Like, he's such a piece for the future, more so than someone who's going to help him this year. Based off Mark Eversley's comments yesterday, though, I wouldn't be surprised if the front office is pushing Billy Donovan to play him a little more. We know how Billy handled Modest last year. I would say ultimately it was probably a healthy thing for Modest to have that sort of approach from Billy Donovan. He did eventually earn his minutes, and hopefully next season, Modest will be entrenched as a starter from day one, be playing 30 minutes a game, and he'll just be over that sort of rookie wall that Donovan initially put in front of him. Essengay is going to face a similar challenge, and really this will be the ultimate test of the Bulls as a developmental staff. I think the Bulls historically have been a poor developmental team over the last 10 years, 20 years, and Essengay is a guy they really got to develop because he is like a raw bundle of tools who still can't really shoot, can't really pass, can't really dribble, yet found a way to be effective in a pro league at a super duper young age despite all that. So Bulls, I don't think it's good enough to promote internally to fill the shooting coach spot left by Peter Patton. I thought firing Peter Patton was a gigantic mistake, and if the Bulls want to right that wrong, spend some money, hire another shooting coach. They might as well look for the best available strength and conditioning coach because Essengay, it was like stunning seeing him up close at the draft with just how thin he is. Like, we went through this with Modest last year too, but to be 6'10", 203 pounds, this guy is really going to need to add weight. To me, he's going to need to hit two of these three factors to really blossom for the Bulls. Frame development by just adding strength, shooting development, and handle development. If he can hit two of the three, I think the Bulls could have a very, very good player. If he hits one of the three, they probably have someone who, as long as he plays with good energy and intensity and his feel for the game that I think looks pretty good on paper, continues to develop, yeah, he should be a solid contributor, even if he doesn't become a star. So I'm very interested to see how Essengay develops long-term. And yeah, it's just a really interesting pick by the Bulls.
Ricky, do you think that this pick kind of signals that this is Josh Giddey's team? And what I mean by that is we know what Essengay does well, gets up and down the floor in transition, because that's kind of how I envision it, is Giddey, Modest on one side, Essengay on the other side, just running up and down the floor all day long and getting Giddey like 15 assists a game because of it. So does this pick kind of signal that this is his team now?
Yeah, 100%. I was thinking the same thing. Like, Josh Giddey is going to be so critical to the success of Essengay. And really, he helped Modest quite a bit last year, too. Like, even me as a Giddey skeptic, I do think that he made Modest's life a little easier. When you have a good passer like Giddey, someone who likes to push the tempo, and you're drafting play finishers, it kind of makes sense. The other guy I was thinking of was Trey Jones. The Bulls sort of could benefit from retaining Trey Jones now, even though we always laugh about how many guards they have. But they don't really have another pure point guard, a great passer on the roster outside of Giddey. So, maybe Trey Jones could come back, be leading those second units when Bizelis and Essengay are on the floor. And yeah, point guard has definitely become a more vital position with the decision to draft some straight play finishers at this stage.
We've talked about that a bunch in the past of just like when you have Giddey on your roster, you need to make some hard decisions or sacrifices in team building to put the right players around him in order to give him a chance to succeed because of the limitations in his game and because he needs the ball in his hand. So obviously you just mentioned like Essengay being a nice fit, but like what else do you think that the Bulls need to put around Giddey to like mask some of his weaknesses, maximize his strengths, put him in a position to succeed alongside Modest and Essengay?
Yeah, I think ideally you would put more ferocious defenders next to him in the backcourt. So, that goes back to probably the biggest question for the Bulls right now. Is a Josh Giddey, Kobe White backcourt something you can really bank on for the future in the Eastern Conference? I think the ideal backcourt mate next to Josh Giddey is somebody a little bit more defensive minded than Kobe White, somebody who, can handle multiple assignments defensively and be still a good floor spacer. Obviously, Kobe's a really good volume shooter. Kobe has quite a bit of pull-up shooting equity too, in some supplemental creation. And I do think it's important to have all those things. But at the end of the day, having two guys who will likely be targeted defensively in a playoff series is going to be a big handicap for this Bulls team if they can ever achieve Arturas's lifelong dream and get the number 8 seed in the East. So it's a big thing to look out for. And then I'll also say Vooch. What's going on with Vooch? Can we please get rid of Vooch this year, guys? Please get rid of Vooch.
Jeez.
But it's hard. It's hard because ideally you want to stretch big man. Vooch is a pretty good stretch big man. Vooch, I do think, he's probably their best player last year. He was pretty good, like defensive rebounding, scoring. I like his short roll playmaking. So they need just like a younger version of a center they can build around. Now, should it necessarily be like Vooch? I think you need more of a rim protector. If you got Josh Giddey in front of you as your perimeter defender at center, rim protection, of course, not Vooch's strong suit. I don't think he could jump over a ruler, but he's still, decently effective, I guess, at this stage of his career. So Bulls need to find a center of a future. And, that just comes into more focus with Essengay joining Modest on the wing.
Yeah, I'm curious, Ricky, in assuming there will eventually be a post-Vooch era here in Chicago. It might take another 5 or 6 years, but at that point, maybe still looking for an answer of like, who's our legitimate starting five? And a lot of Bulls fans, as soon as the Essengay pick happened last night, or starting to think about who's the 3, who's the 4. And I was getting a little excited just thinking about Essengay and Modest sharing the floor together, but not immediately clear how that will work best. If you're Billy Donovan, how do you start trying to figure out how to have those two on the floor together and the best way to optimize that?
Well, what would really make this an easier equation? If the Bulls had a shooting coach. I mean, you have to hire a shooting coach. You have to spend money on the developmental staff to make sure Modest doesn't regress as a three-point shooter. I thought last year that was probably about as good as we could have expected, right? 36% on decent volume. I don't know his attempts per 100 possessions off the top of my head from 3. I think it was like 7 a game or something like that. We'll look it up for me. But I thought that was like decently encouraging to have that type of accuracy on that type of volume as a rookie. Certainly plenty of room to grow from there. You only want him to continue to improve his volume and hopefully incrementally inch up his percentage. You're just worried, like, dude, now that Peter Patton's gone, could he crash out as a three-point shooter and really go the other way? Hopefully not. And then Essengay is even more raw than Modest was as a shooter, I would say. I am encouraged by the fact that he didn't hesitate to shoot threes this year. He was confidently stepping into them. There's plenty of made threes on his tape, even though for the season he shot under 30%. And it seems like it's just going the right way. As a free throw shooter, I believe he was 58% a year ago and then 71% this year. So that's trending in a positive direction, but definitely plenty of room to grow. And I think, if you can put Modest and Essengay together, who's the 3, who's the 4? The thing is, they're both pretty good as the low man. Essengay is really good guarding the ball, and I think that he could definitely be quick enough to guard NBA threes. And I think Modest could be too. Like, I know that we've, as Bulls fans, have talked a lot about, oh, what position should Patrick Williams play, the 3 or the 4? I feel less concerned with this as we move the conversation towards Modest and Essengay. They do sort of have overlapping skill sets in that they're like athletic play finishers. They can work together if they can hit spot up shots, I think. So Bulls invest in that developmental staff, and it could be, just a huge boon for the future of the team.
That's what they do with their newly found cash considerations. But yes, Modest, 8.2 3-pointers per 100 possessions last year, 36%. He was like sub 30 in the G League, right? So like that's like a legit good volume, good percentage improvement in 1 year. So like that absolutely needs to continue to improve. And I agree. I mean, especially like Mark Eversley talking so much about internal development last night. I mean, like, that's what you got to do. You got to teach these guys how to shoot, and you got to make sure that they can do it at a high level.
Yeah.
Well, Ricky, just before we let you go, any thoughts on we just saw Broom, the big man from Auburn, get taken at pick 35. If the Bulls do, in fact, take this 55th pick, keep it for themselves, even if it is a draft and stash, who is a name or two names that you're hoping are still on the board when we get all the way down to 55?
All right, I like my big man, Rocco, just if you're going to do a draft and stash. 7'3" center with shot blocking skills, why not? The Bulls really haven't had someone like that in the front court in a long time. How about Kobe Brea is another guy, just knockdown shooter, 6'7" out of Kentucky. I'd be shocked if he's still on the board at 55. He might have been on the board at 45, but that's not going to pay for Peter Patton's replacement. So Jerry had to pocket that cash, but he's someone who I think would be pretty good. He has an elite skill. That's solid for a second-round pick and what I think is a thin draft in the first place. And then I mentioned Elijah Martin last night. I like Elijah Martin. I just think that he's a physical, intense guy with a pedigree of winning who could just raise the level of competition in practices. So I'll name those 3 guys. I got a 4th. How about another Kentucky guy, Amari Williams? If he's still on the board, I really like Amari Williams. Great passer, dominant defensive rebounder. Again, bankable skills. He's got an elite skill as a rebounder, and he's a dope passer in the half court. So those are a few guys I would like, but sure seems like the Bulls are tapping out of making this pick.
Can I give you one more question before we get you out of here, Ricky? So
I got all day, Will.
We had a couple of picks go off the board while you were talking. Ryan Kalkbrenner to the Hornets, Janai Broom to the 76ers, and now Shams is tweeting that the Lakers have acquired the 36th pick from Minnesota. We don't know the details of this yet. I'm assuming it was with the 45th pick, which they just traded from the Bulls, and they're taking Adu Tiero. I really liked Maxime Reynaud, but presumably the Bulls could have also made this move up to 36. Is that something you would have considered here based on who was available into the round? Would you have traded a couple of future second-round picks, packaged something together to go move up for whether it was Tiero or I liked Reynaud? I know you weren't as high on him.
Yeah, or Kalkbrenner, would have been good too, just as a chance at a future rim protector. So, yeah, it's so what, you get 15 spots on the roster? And Will, you would know this more than I would, but they're going to tell us the roster's full. Is that essentially true? I guess you could waive Javon Carter. Maybe they, want to use him as salary in a trade in the future. What are you thinking on that, Will?
So they have 14 with Giddey and Essengay. You could either not bring Trey Jones back or trade a few guys. That's an option. Consolidate. Or just cut somebody, like you said, Javon Carter. I don't know. I feel like there's always something to do, and just the roster's full, can't do anything is kind of a excuse I'm not really buying.
Yeah, me too. And then is EJ Liddell, is he still on a two-way?
He is on a two-way. I'm not sure if it's extended into next season. But yeah, I think the only one they had, I can't even remember who those guys were at this point, but I think those two ways, they maybe had one guy left. So they've got roster spots.
Cool. Yeah, I think that maybe they draft someone at 55 who could be on a two-way for them. A guy at 45 maybe wouldn't want to take a two-way contract, but at 55, maybe you could get someone to do it. So I should pull up my big board of top 60 prospects, and I can quickly give you guys a few more names to look at. Grant Nelson, he could be interesting, out of Alabama. He had a great college career, sort of an extremely poor man's Chet Holmgren, maybe.
Yes.
Is someone who you
Yes.
could maybe take at 55, get him on a two-way. I kind of like Kadary Richmond out of St. John's, who does everything but shoot. Seems like an Arturis kind of player. So, if you want to go for someone like that at 55, I think he could still be on the board. I like Dylan Cardwell as Janai Broom's former Auburn teammate. Absolute defensive stud who just can't do anything on offense other than dunk the ball. But, he's a really good paint protector and rim protector. So I like Dylan Cardwell as well with number 55. And to your question, Will, would I have moved up? Yeah, the Bulls need more talent. They need more bites at the apple. Javon Carter would literally just be wasting his spot on the roster in hopes that he's used a salary to match a trade later in the season. So I would have definitely gone up. I love Adutero and Kalkbrenner. And Cam Jones is another guy who I would have targeted here. Those were my 3 sleepers in this class. For a Bulls team that needs talent, would have been nice if they would have got a little more creative, but hey, that doesn't pay the bills. So they'll take those cash considerations straight to the bank.
Getting closer and closer to those 9 to 10 good players AK needs, Ricky. You just got to have faith, man.
You tell him, Matt.
Well, Ricky, we appreciate all of your incredible draft coverage as always. I loved every mock draft, every player profile, every interview, every podcast that you've done over the last couple months, working your tail off. Bulls Nation appreciates it. We appreciate it. We appreciate you giving us some of your time tonight. Please, for the love of God, go take a load off this weekend because you have more than earned it. Follow Ricky on that Twitter machine, SBN_Ricky, writer, editor, associate director of programming at the one and only SB Nation. Ricky, we love you, buddy. Have a good one.
Thanks for having me, boys.
Ricky O.
Appreciate you mentioning my guy Grant Nelson, man.
Oh yeah, he was
Grant
on
Nelson
your
fan.
list?
He was on my list last year.
Oh yeah?
I've been a huge Grant Nelson fan for a while. So yeah, man, he's an exciting player to me. I really think he has a lot of really great tools for any NBA team. Can shoot, can defend, high IQ, runs the floor. Yeah, he's solid. He's really solid. I like him. But he's 23 years old, and I'm sure that's what's throwing people off for sure.
It's Bulls looking for guys who are young, Dave.
Correct. I understand. NBA young starts at 18.
Dude,
this is true.
The Lakers moved up from 55 to 45 with the price of cash considerations.
Mm-hmm.
And then they used 45, which they acquired from the Bulls, and added cash considerations to move up to 36, where they took Adutero. I really liked Maxime right now. I feel like he's a good Vooch replacement. He's a very similar player.
Yeah.
They could have just had, I'm not saying he's the center of the future, but a solid backup 5 that maybe turns into a starter.
Yeah.
Just if they had spent that cash instead of saved it.
Yeah.
That's disappointing to me. If you're talking about bringing in talent, building through the draft, internal development, that's a real missed opportunity.
I agree with you. You get no argument out of me, man. Like you said, we both were on Renault when we saw him, man. This dude can play, and just a good guy to have there on your team, and another international guy also, as well, to have on your squad, man. It wouldn't be a bad decision, but here we are.
It's also hilarious to see the Lakers just throwing cash around in these trades right after the news of the sale of the team from the Buss family came down the pipe earlier this week.
We saw a tweet from Dan Wojcicki, who's now with The Athletic, covering the Lakers, and he said that it's actually still Jeannie Buss's money because the sale hasn't finalized yet. So this is last-ditch effort to, I don't know what, get Adutero on their roster.
Well, when that sale closes, I'm sure they'll be more than fine. I think the Buss family's not concerned about throwing around a few $100,000 or maybe even $500,000 for what does a second-round pick go for these days? Truly.
That's a good question.
Yeah,
they probably got $500K for that.
Right.
I mean, that's a complete guess, but they're not getting $1 million for it.
Yeah.
But
maybe it was less than 500.
Didn't the number come out for that Jordan Bell Warriors when they bought the Bulls second rounder back? That was 7 or 8 years ago now.
Mm-hmm.
I think it came out that it was over $1 million.
Yeah,
the Warriors threw the Bulls $1.2 million or something that for that second round pick. Yeah. Which okay, that's a lot of money for a second round pick that you were probably going to screw up anyway. But
looks like the Pistons also made a pick. Chaz Lanier out of Tennessee.
Chaz, great underutilized name for NBA players.
Yeah, with a Z.
Chaz with a Z.
Chaz with a Z.
Has there ever been any
Chaz.
other previous NBA players Chaz with a Z?
I don't know.
No
But he's a good shooter.
He is. He can shoot
He's
that
a very
thing.
good shooter.
Basketball Reference telling me 0 matches for an NBA Chaz. He will be
Congratulations,
the first.
man.
That
Congratulations.
is awesome.
Congratulations,
Oh,
sir.
man.
Jay Billis has Renault as the best available player right now.
He was number 1 best available from the start of the round. I like Renault. I know
I do
other
too.
people are not as high on him.
I'm a
Ricky
fan
was
of
one of them. I've talked to other people that just like think he's not going to make it as an NBA player
fan.
because of his defense. But like,
The slow wind up on the shot too is probably on
yeah,
either.
but he's like, he's super mobile. Like I feel like part of the problem with guys like that is that they're not like athletic enough.
and another
As
pick.
Cam Jones goes
Cam
here.
Jones.
Cam
The
Jones.
Spurs,
to these-
a lot of Marquette fans who
Marquette.
were very much hoping the Bulls would take him, but he can really play.
Well, tell me about. I don't know much about Cam Jones.
Just a really high level point guard.
Okay.
Like he's just a great overall player. I'm gonna pull up his stats here while I'm talking, but
Okay.
he's older, but just like very good scorer, very good facilitator. I think the knock on him is that he's like small, doesn't really get to the free throw line much, and not a good 3-point shooter, but just like a very good high level college point guard. And I think like spending a mid to high second round pick on him is like a good investment. Like he's going to be a backup. You think of, I'm trying to remember the guy from Houston that was drafted last year to the Raptors, a player like that who just can like come in and be a productive facilitator as a point guard from day one.
Okay.
Just saw his, he embraced his Marquette coach, Shaka Smart there, who was there
Shout out
to
Shaka
congratulate
Smart.
him on draft night. Shout out Shaka Smart, my fellow
Jamal Shead.
Kenyon
That's what I'm
College
thinking
alma mater alum. Shaka Smart.
That's right.
Kenyon College, known as a basketball powerhouse,
Would you
along
say-
with those liberal arts.
Would you say you're a top 5 most famous person from that college?
From Kenyon? Oh, hell no.
Run down your
Paul
5.
Newman, Allison
Newman.
Janney, Josh Radner. Like, Kenyon churns out famous people.
I don't know.
I am not one
Shaka
of them.
Smart is 4. That leaves one
Shaka
more.
Smart
I'm
is
just
4.
saying that leaves one more right there. Right there, baby.
And you know what? No, shout out to my buddy Will Dagger, who just finished his Broadway play with George Clooney.
Shout out.
More famous than me.
He knows Clooney adjacent.
He was hanging out with Clooney for the last few months.
It's all right. You know people too. You got hanging out with Joe Kim Noah.
I know Big Dave.
You hanging out with Joe Kim Noah. It's on your shirt. All right. Come on. We got proof right here, man. Matt Peck.
In Paris.
Paris.
That's where we became best friends.
So this pick from Cam Jones is actually going to the Pacers.
Oh, another guard
so
for the
this
Pacers.
this is probably the Halliburton short-term
Yeah,
replacement.
the Hallie backup plan.
Yeah.
The Hallie back. What the Hallie? Hallie back. That's not a bad decision just based on your description of him. Like that kind of player for that kind of team right there with the guy like Rick Carlisle coaching them up. Yeah, that's
and
a
they've
pretty
got
good
McConnell,
decision.
they've got Nembhard, but like they are going to need another guy, and I think he can just like help them eat innings throughout the regular season.
Yeah.
Like he's an older player, he's experienced, he's going to be able to like actually contribute.
Yeah.
And I know that takes time for a lot of, especially smaller guards, but Jamal Shead was the name that I was forgetting.
Okay.
The Raptors pick last year. Like that was a guy who just played a bunch of minutes last year because he's just really good and has been there before and knows how to do it.
All right.
Goat, as they zoomed out and did a big pan of the whole like draft area, did you see what they got in the draft room?
I did not.
Celsius?
A couple of dual papa shots just right next
There
to
we
each
go.
other.
I need to get one of those.
For those draft picks. You could go out there and put all these NBA picks to shame with your Papa Shot skills. Today's scores for Bulls Nation to know just how talented you are. What 114?
I was in the 110s a little bit today.
This man is
My record is
working
116
on the
though.
Papa Shot.
I did not break my record.
The record's
unfortunately.
116. Yes. Shout out, man.
Practice makes perfect.
It does.
I
Or
will
just
break 116.
a
but I
really
have
high
not yet
Papa Shot
broken
score.
116.
Big board.
Big board? Let's go there, Katie. All right, so we do have a lot of these names having been taken off the board through the first 10 or so picks of round 2, including recently Cam Jones. Kobe Bryant, another interesting name. Tyrese Proctor among the guards. Ryan Nembhard. That's the
Ryan
same Nembhard family, is it not?
He's like
The Hampton.
hair over 6 feet tall, maybe even not quite.
Little
so
guy.
just smaller, and like Andrew's 6'4".
Yeah.
But he's a really good passer. really good facilitator. I think he was like averaging 8 assists per game in college. So he's just like going to be a player. He was really dominating at the showcase and then got invited to the combine. So I think he can play, but he's probably a pick in the late 40s, early 50s. But yeah, Maxime Reynaud. I had him as a first rounder. I think I had him late 20s.
And any theories on why he's just still here?
I mean, there's certainly questions about him. Like, the defense is not good very much at all. Kalkbrenner was like an elite rim protector in addition to being really productive. Reynaud blocked a bunch of shots down the stretch of his most recent college season, but not somebody who's going to be like a defensive player. And I think that kind of hurts him. But like, you just watch him and he's mobile enough to be able to like hard hedge, be up to touch. Like, I do think he'll be able to survive out there defensively if the like instincts and just game processing catch up to the speed of the NBA game, which is a challenge for all these guys. But we talked about him with Goodman. Like, he's a great guy, like very smart, and just super impressive the way he can move, score, facilitate. Like, he kind of reminds me of Lowry in that way.
We've got another pick in here, Katie, at 39, and Toronto, the Florida guard Elijah Martin.
Clean.
Off the board. He was a name that a lot of people were talking about for like early second round. Could have been a first round.
Yeah.
Like those like second round steals, Martin's name came up everywhere last night.
I mean, shout out for the logo on the back of the suit jacket, though.
Yeah, that's
shout out to him, that young fella there with the chain in the front. But damn, you better see it. You better see it from a mile away.
That's that good NIL money.
Oh, yes.
Woo!
The chain. Yeah, you saw it. Hurt your eyes.
God.
Avert your eyes.
That is some glare coming off that outfit. My goodness.
Do you feel a lot of these guards are falling, with these real true ball skills, are falling into the second round strictly because they're 6'1" and 6 feet tall?
I think smaller and older. Like, all these guys are juniors, seniors, fifth-year seniors who have a ton of college experience, are really big built players that really started to dominate as they out-physicaled some of the younger players in college basketball. And I'm not saying that's the only reason why they were able to do that. I think he'll carve out an NBA career for himself, but that's why I think older players you evaluate with a little bit more skepticism, because you just don't know why they're breaking out later. And is it as a result of them playing against guys that are like less physically developed and less experienced? And, he went to 2 Final Fours. I think he's going to be a player, and actually is a perfect Raptor. Like, he's a great defender. He plays with a ton of energy. He's long. Like, this is a perfect fit for him.
That's good to hear, man. Always like that. Got to match the chain, baby.
Wow.
Clean.
So we got the Wizards on the clock here at pick number 40. They, of course, cashed in on one of my favorite names of this draft class, Trey Johnson, with that 6th pick after Bailey fell off the board at 5.
Yeah.
When you think about what the Wizards are going to try to do approaching the draft strategy-wise, it's sort of like, do they have any firm names on their depth chart and where those names are on said depth chart? Or is it literally just a free-for-all of like, well, he's got some talent, let's get, what was it? Like earlier this week, they made that Jordan Poole trade?
Yes.
So now
earlier this week? I think it was.
And, they bring in the wily vet, C.J. McCollum.
Yes.
They got the other wily vet, Chris Middleton, who picked up his nice and fat player option to stick around for another year.
Not mad at him.
So, like, they got a couple of these, like, aging quasi-used-to-be stars, and then just a bunch of kids. It's sort of like, where do the Wizards go from here?
To the bottom. So we go to the draft.
Started from the bottom, still at the bottom.
Still at the bottom. But we're going to the draft next year. That's really what it is.
Saying, take that, Wizards.
I think you're just getting these older guys also because they're building up players like Sarr and Trey Johnson, because I feel like that's the combination that's your future right there. So they're going to get a lot of tick along with these veterans in there, because those veterans are not playing all 82 of these games. You better believe it. Cassidy is setting up their retirement
McCollum
now,
and Middleton,
all right? Yeah,
they
bro.
might not combined play 40.
Yeah, man, dude. Look, they are setting up their retirement stuff right now.
Hey, good for them.
Yeah, I'm not. This isn't me being mad at them at all. I'm very proud of them, what they're doing. But I think that's what it's about. Just teaching those young guys the ropes, you know what I'm saying, showing them the game and how to properly do it. And Washington they have room for everything You know what I'm saying, on their team. Like, even with all those veterans, and of course they want to get their shots and their points on some nights, there's room for you to get 20 shots a night on this team. It's about who wants it and who really wants to take it. And I'm curious like I just mentioned about Colin Knueppel, they're going to need that culture shift. You know what I mean? That somebody has to be that guy, for them. And I know they wanted to be sorry, but it might be Trey Johnson, because that's the league. You know what I'm saying? When you look at Trey Johnson, man, that is the league right there, bro. A dude who can get his own shot and is lethal from the three-point line, 30 feet and up. Like, he is lethal. So I think that should be the focus, you know what I'm saying, of their team and how they move forward. But, yeah, straight to the bottom, though, again this year, bro, and seeing who they pick up in the 2026 draft, and then you probably got yourself a stew going after that.
We talked about it so much last year with Modest's minutes. Like, they don't want to just roll the ball out there and let all these young guys run around and develop bad habits and not understand how to.
That's what the vets are for.
Learn their, and so exactly, you're bringing in players that are actually good, who these young players can look up to, learn from, play with, and not just have some 40-year-old Taj Gibson's a example of a guy who's
bite your tongue.
Obviously
celebrated his 40th, by the way.
Was a good player, but he's 40 years old. He's not in the NBA to play 30 minutes a night. And so he's there to help develop the younger players, play against them in practice. But it's a different story when you've got a DeMar DeRozan or a Vooch or a Chris Middleton, Marcus Smart. Those guys are going to be really valuable to them. And then the Wizards are wisely getting picks for these guys because they're taking on the bad contract.
Yeah.
And then they will 1,000% try to flip them at the deadline and get a few second-round picks. So then get picks coming and going, because that's how good teams operate. They want to accumulate assets at every possible turn.
So we do have the Wizards pick in here at 40. Find out who it is. Ooh, and there we see on Jay Billis' best available, scrolling through number 9, Rocco Zikarsky.
Rocco. All right, Rocco.
Here comes Tatum. I think I'm taking Tatum. Mark Tatum. With that
pick. Always
pick.
happy to see him for some reason.
Oh, dude, he's always got a smile on his face.
Pleasant guy.
He's just I'm very happy to be here.
And they take Micah Peavy out of Georgetown. Micah Peavy out of Georgetown. Also very clean.
Any thoughts on Peavy, GOAT?
Not too much. He's a guy that I know a lot of people are really excited about, but just a long athletic wing. I think he's got the physical tools to be able to carve out a little bit of a career, and I think this is kind of the right range for him. I saw a lot of mid-40s. We're getting to the point where I'm not super well versed in any of these guys,
right?
Yeah.
But certainly someone who was productive with Georgetown, and I think has the physical traits to be a player in the NBA, 6'6", 6'7" wing, who can shoot it and score. That's the kind of player that teams are after.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, you know how you can tell this is the second round? Nobody's hat fits. In that first round,
did the hat fits in round one?
They have to adjust them immediately. As soon as they put them on, they're oh man, adjust this. Round one, they're set up there differently. You know what I mean? They're adjusted a little bit more, so they don't have to do anything. This one, they just where he going? Toss that up on there. He'll fix it. He'll fix that up. But yeah, man, congratulations to that young man. Go say, you always gonna need a wing. You know what I'm saying, on your team. I don't care what team you got in the league. A wing with that kind of versatility and aggression, yeah, you want that.
I mean, between the championship hats they handed out to the Thunder last weekend and these draft, it's making all these grandpa hats. What's up with these?
Hat. Yeah, those finals hats were trash, bro.
They were legit. And look, don't get me wrong, I love a good grandpa hat in the right setting.
Yeah,
but for NBA championship hats or NBA draft hats, I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Do you see? He had the stat back
that was just
open in the back.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? VJ, yeah, okay, boom.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm out. Good. We fine. Thanks very much.
Colin Murray-Boyles had to undo it entirely.
Oh yeah, I believe that. That brother got a dome.
A lot going on up there.
He got a lot happening, man. Shout out to him.
We got the Warriors now on the clock, 41, but this is so this was one of the picks that was involved in one of the trades earlier today with Phoenix, right?
I believe they used it to the Suns traded up for 41 and then flipped it. So I can't remember where it actually.
And then it's somewhere in the 50s. I think there's 2 50s picks that they got from Golden State because Golden State traded up to 41. While the Warriors are on the clock here, Katie, do you want to just knock out our last ad break of the show real quick? So we be done with that? listen to some ads, hit the like. Today's show brought to you by Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake. Kicking off summer with big savings all month long. Come in today to shop the summer sales event. Drive home with $10,000 of off MSRP on new Chevy models. Check out their selection of over 125 vehicles priced under $20,000. With one of Chicagoland's largest Chevy inventories, you're sure to find the perfect vehicle for you. Plus, Ray's Price Promise, that beautiful promise, lets you shop confidently because you know the price you see is the price you will pay. No price gouging, no price hiding, no extra fee hiding. No. Price, promise. And don't miss out on the summer sales event going on all month long for $10,000 off MSRP on new Chevy models. Shop Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or RayChevrolet.com. They've been serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. Gas pedal.
You know, if you ever tried to buy a home, get a loan, that rhymed,
Hey.
or just deal with money stuff in general, you know, it can be a lot. A lot. That's why we're going to tell you about the Rate app. And seriously, ladies and gentlemen, it is a game changer. You can get pre-approved for a mortgage in minutes without the need to jump through a million hoops because we don't want that. His back hurts. And if you're thinking about a home equity loan or a personal loan, you can secure one in 15 days. And it's something unexpected. It's a bonus. 800 free wellness videos. You can get all of that. So if you're stressed out about a loan or mortgage or seriously, just life in general, let the Rate app take care of it. And then once that's done, get one of them free wellness videos and chill on out. You could download the Rate app to get started and enter the CHGO Summertime Sweepstakes, y'all. And you're going to get hooked up with some awesome tickets, them Ray Club tickets to the Cubs White Sox on July 26th. All you got to do, download, sign up, you're entered. Isn't that awesome? It's very cool. Did I mention all-inclusive? Yep, all you can eat, all you can drink. You get all that, y'all. allchgo.com/rate. No purchase necessary. Rate.com. Do it! Welcome back.
We're back, baby.
Back live, CHGO Bulls. Draft coverage of the second round. Still haven't gotten to the Bulls pick at number 55. I did want to take one more look at your big board, Goat. Katie, if you would so oblige me, please.
She's working on the update, but for now, we do have a couple of picks.
I had questions about names, but go ahead, please.
Let's just rattle off some picks here that we missed. Micah Peavy, we talked about going number 40, and then the Suns at 41 are taking Kobe Brea. So shooter, probably top 5 shooter in this draft class. And yeah, I think the Suns are like, and he's like got good size, 6'6", 6'7". Like the Suns are having a pretty good draft.
I agree.
You get Malawach, you pay 2 pretty low end first round picks for Mark Williams. A little weird to like go out and get 2 like rim protector lob threat bigs, but like, okay, they need defense. They're reshaping their team. And then you get Rasheer Fleming after a bunch of moves, and now Kobe Brea. Like they're bringing in size and shooting and defense and rim protection. I kind of like what they're doing. I know they've been kind of like the laughing stock just based on the hyper aggressive moves, but they seem to be working out for the Suns right now. I like what they're doing.
You said laughing stock. I thought you were talking about the Bulls for a second.
I just wanted to ask a question about JoJo Tugler. Tell me a little more. This is a brand new name to me, and I saw it just kind of jumped out. Tell me about this young wing.
Yeah, Tugler is just like somebody who gobbles up blocks, steals, and rebounds. Like that's kind of he's like a power forward who just like collects a bunch of stats like that. He's a very good defender, but just not really a threat in terms of shooting, scoring. So I think that's why he's more in this second round range. I think I had him in the 40s. Okay. But he's somebody who like some analytics department is going to be like, oh my God, we got to get this guy. Cause like he puts up big stats like that. So a lot of rebounds, a lot of steals, a lot of blocks.
Older player, young player?
Older player.
Older guy. Yeah. Okay.
We got another pick in with the Warriors who traded up to 41, taking Kentucky guard Kobe Brea. Blue chip program guard going to Golden State. 2-time A-10 Sixth Man of the Year.
I think this is one of the cool things about doing it on 2 nights that they do is it just gives a chance, you know what I'm saying, for those second round guys to have that moment.
To shine a little bit more.
Exactly.
As
you know
opposed
what I mean?
to, the classic Nikola Jokic T-Bell commercial break.
Exactly. And I think that's cool and allows guys to show up, because if they know if they're going in the second round and it's just one night, more than likely they're staying at home. Like you said, Taco Bell commercials are going on. So I think that's what's a cool thing about it, is you get to know more about these players and you get to know their stories a little bit more, and you give them some love, man, because they are NBA players and you can find really great ones and superstar ones in this second round, and they deserve that love as well.
And like the NBA does not want the Taco Bell thing. Like that was unfortunate for Jokic. Maybe he wouldn't have been
But
there
also
anyway.
like kind of perfect for Jokic.
Kind of perfect for Jokic.
Personality-wise.
Yeah, it's true.
But like the NBA doesn't want that. I think they want it to seem more like the NFL draft. They want to extend it out, get more programming. Obviously, like this is another 3-hour TV segment that they can sell a bunch of ads for and all that stuff.
Right.
Absolutely, no question.
But I think it's good for the league. And like there's just so much talent in the league right now. You're seeing guys in the second round be contributors more and more. And so I think it's absolutely good for the league. And as the league expands, maybe we move to 32 teams. Like all these picks are just going to have that much more value because there's going to be more opportunity for them to play.
And, for Bulls fans, case in point, we were talking a little bit earlier about potentially a growing role for Julian Phillips on this team. But Ayo Dosunmu, I mean, name as many names as you can before getting to Ayo when it comes to which players has Billy Donovan entrusted to play big roles and play big minutes over the last few seasons.
Yeah.
Because whether he's been a starter or coming off the bench, Billy has trusted Ayo. That is a second-round pick.
Yeah. You have found a second-rounder who could also be the leader of your team, one that the young guys are definitely gravitating to. You see it with Modest Uzelis, with Patrick Williams and things like, and Dalen Terry, like that. They all kind of gravitate towards Ayo Dosunmu. As I mentioned many times before, the things he does in the community, the things he does for his organization and things like that. Like, you couldn't just have a better person on your team. Oh, and also he's good at basketball on top of those things. So, yeah, man, and finding all of that in the second round, and he walked in with a chip on his shoulder because he knew how good that he actually was. Like, those are the kind of guys and kind of gems that you want. Like, I can, again, sit here and argue you that he is AK's greatest draft pick that he has ever made. Obviously, you can throw Modest in if you want, but I can go Ayo because it's been proven over time.
Right.
Ayo's
got the resume all thus far. Yeah. Maybe Bulls fans can hope.
The Kongs.
Oh, and there's Maxime finally going off the board to the Kings at 42.
I believe actually this is the pick that was the Bulls pick that they sent the Kings.
I think you're right.
In that
trade.
Zach LaVine trade.
Yeah. Oh, that sucked. He's nice, man.
I mean,
yeah.
Funky form.
Is there
but it goes
anything more Stanford basketball than a big white boy who can shoot?
I'm telling you, man.
That is their MO.
Look, playing chess.
Pick of him playing chess with Wemby. Is that Wemby?
That is Wemby, sir.
Wow.
Countryman. Playing that chess. Got to get it right. Shout out to Wemby's journey in life, man, mentally. Shout out to him, what he's doing.
Yes, indeed.
It's really cool.
Because I saw somebody in the chat just recently asked, could the Bulls have just gotten him Maxime at 45? Well, so he didn't make it to 45, almost.
Right.
But no, he goes off the board at 42.
Yeah.
And now we have the Utah Jazz.
And also, just a good place to be for him. Also with the Kongs, because you already got Sabonis right there. You know what I mean? It's a good way to learn over there.
For how long?
That's true. And then
if the bonus trade rumors flying.
But I'm saying if he goes, guess what? That's on you. So again, it's a great spot for him to have that, and they are definitely looking for a new star on their team. I mean, De'Aaron Fox is up out of here. We've heard rumors about DeMar DeRozan and Zach LaVine being shipped out as well. So they'll be looking for a young new star on their team to match what they're trying to do.
And they got Nick Clifford in a good trade with the Oklahoma City Thunder last night.
Yeah, Nick ended up falling, a considerable amount.
Yeah, these guys who are 24 years old, it's just hard. The history of them succeeding in the NBA, it's just not great.
You can't draft him.
Especially in the lottery.
He's too old. Can't take his house.
By the time that by the time that Noah Essengay signs his second contract, he will still not be as old as Nick Clifford is right now.
I don't know where.
He has a whole college degree of age on him.
Ricky just framed it in the sense when we get to the year 2037, he will just be turning 30, which is gross. But flipping it the other way, I read somewhere this morning, and like you do the math, it makes sense, but it didn't dawn on me until I read it on Twitter this morning. Essengay was born in 2006. Yeah, even our in-house youngster, Katie over here, is not loving that. 2006. What were you doing in 2006, Dave?
Oh, on the real, that was a tough year.
Yeah?
I ain't gonna lie to you. That was a hard year.
But not in a bassinet in the hospital.
No, not in the bassinet.
Yeah, no.
Not in the bassinet. Not in the bassinet.
I was studying hard in college. 2006. It was a good year.
Studying? I was just saying, like, studying?
Yes.
Yeah.
Work hard, play hard. That was
Okay.
my motto in college and then for all of the years after college.
I was 9 years old.
Katie, you were 9 in 2006?
I was 9 years old. Yep. What
think I was in,
grade
like,
are you in
8th
as a ninth
grade.
grader or as a 9-year-old?
I was a sophomore in college in 2006. Ugh.
You said 8th grade?
I think.
Nice. Making his way
Yeah.
God damn.
through the world.
These kids are so young.
They're going to get younger every year,
Oh
bro.
my God.
They're going to get young. That's how life works.
Taj is not allowed to retire
Why not?
because he just turned 40 and I need that in my life. I need some NBA players who are older than me.
So the Wizards are your favorite team? Is this what you're telling me?
No.
Okay.
But shout out to James Johnson.
Oh,
Vital
man.
role on those Pacers.
What an old man move that was by James Johnson. He
Like,
walked
I
in.
did not come here to play
like,
tonight.
Listen, when he smiled and I saw he had still his gold fronts in his mouth, I'm like, this dude ain't playing it, man. Look. And immediately was like, nope, let me just throw somebody on the ground. I'm done. I'm not tearing a hamstring about here.
I was surprised I was
Great.
allowed to play with that.
He was shocked that he was even going to play. I don't think he was prepared. He was like, wait, who?
He's like, Rick.
No.
He
That
did
was
one of these like me?
That
We're
was
not
the
doing this right now.
Garbage time when they were up big in Game 6, right? At the end, that's
Yeah.
when that happened. He checked in, foul, ejection
Yeah.
in the span of 30 seconds, maybe. God,
Yeah.
it was brilliant.
Yeah. It was a true grown man move right there. No, I ain't playing. No, I ain't doing it.
No.
I'm good. Thanks for getting me in, though, Coach. Good looking. I'm out, though. I'm out. Yes. I ain't even mad at him, man. Looks like Utah's pick is in. Also at number 43 in that proposed trade with the
Wizards.
Washington Wizards.
Billis's best available has Proctor, number 1. You got Javon Small, Kobe Sanders here.
I like Markovic. Bogolija Markovic
Yeah.
is like a stretch big Serbian player who, I mean, stop me if you've heard this before, but like dribble, pass, shoot. He could be like a lot of people had him in like the early second round. If he falls to the Bulls and he's their stash, I think I would be pretty happy.
Happy about that?
That would be really good value to me.
Here comes Mr. Mark Tatum back to the podium for pick 43.
And he's going with – he just announced the trade first.
Oh, yep, okay.
And now he says
Jameer Watkins,
Excuse me.
Florida State.
All right. Shout out to him, man.
Seminoles.
Also, he goes with the card underneath the next card. I noticed Adam Silver turns it over and puts it down when he's announcing a trade. Another second round detail.
I like the slide under move better.
Hashtag
slide
announced.
under?
Yeah, than the fold down.
Yeah.
I feel like fold down is an old guy move.
That was Adam Silver.
Yeah.
This is the kind of talk you get when you've been live for 7 hours over a 25-hour period. Actually, I think it's 6.5. I don't want to give us an extra half hour.
Shout out to Amari for appreciating my details. I
Katie,
appreciate
if
bro.
you were at a podium announcing picks and you had multiple like placard cards in your hand and you needed to use multiple from one trip to the podium, would you slide the old one behind the new one, or would you take the old one and fold it down to bring up the new one?
I would do the slide.
See? The slide.
Yeah, I think
it's all
the
about the slide, baby.
Because I'd be afraid that if I need that card again, it would be like upside down when I picked it back up, and then I'd be like fumbling and it'd be embarrassing. So
Gotta be prepared.
Got to be prepared.
Javen Terry just joining the chat. What pick do we have? Well, we have pick number 55 as of right now. In case you missed it,
Not
Bulls
because
made a
the
trade.
Bulls had the 6th best record in the league, but because they traded down.
Correct. Made the trade with the Lakers earlier today. Pick 45 for pick 55, and that's right, ladies and gentlemen. Cash money, baby.
Also, number 55, the number worn by Joakim Noah when he was with the Clippers.
This is true.
Just tossing that out.
You know, I bought a Joakim Clippers jersey
I'm sure you did.
online. Never showed up.
Why?
It was
What?
it was a scam website.
Because they were like, nobody wants to buy this jersey.
I did. I was all aboard the Clippers bubble hype train. The Bulls weren't even invited. Let's all remember that.
Oh,
for a
yeah, let's
quick
remember
second.
that. You were so trash. They
The
said, don't
NBA
show up.
said to the Bulls and 7 other teams, no thanks.
We're good.
We're going to go finish the season over here while the world's hiding from COVID.
Yeah, don't worry
But y'all
about it.
can stay home.
Y'all chill on out. Y'all enjoy your time.
Oh, did we? Oh, I'm sorry,
Clippers,
Emma.
my
I'm
trigger
sorry,
word.
Emma. But I was all aboard the Clippers hype train that year, and then that's when they crapped out in the playoffs in the bubble. Remember that?
Oh, my God. Yeah, I was upset by that.
Up 3 games, just totally choked.
Is that your most obscure jersey that you, well, I'm just saying that you have in your collection, even though you don't have it?
It would have been
Yeah.
probably.
Number 50, like a 55 Joakim Noah.
What inspired
Clipper
you to
jersey.
want to do that?
Oh,
Because
what
just Joakim?
You seen his shirt?
Hello,
What Clippers? I feel like I can't imagine you wearing a jersey of another team.
it's Joakim.
Okay,
Joakim Noah.
So that would be the exception to the rule.
Yeah.
Like when I was a kid, post Dynasty, and I still like was an NBA junkie, but was like, you know what? I really don't want a Marcus Pfizer jersey. You know, like I had a few others, like some of my other favorite players, like Kevin Garnett, Allen Iverson.
Yeah.
Like I dabbled outside of the realm of just like I'm an insane Bulls fan with
Yeah.
only Bulls jerseys.
Correct.
But you know, modern day, no, Joakim is the only exception I would make to buying a jersey of a player who is not a Bulls player.
Yeah. And
But these days, I ain't buying any Bulls jerseys because I ain't giving Jerry any of my money right now. So
He's not doing it.
if
Not a fan.
Joakim came out of retirement for some team that wasn't the Bulls, I would buy his jersey.
I'm literally purchasing a jersey of my top 5 favorite players ever. Of
I
all
love
time.
that.
And
You're
I have
purchasing-
3 to go.
I mean,
you're
you've
getting
got
your
the,
top 5 jersey.
Yeah.
the throwback Olajuwon jersey.
I got the
which is
Olajuwon.
Got the kid.
Amazing.
Yeah. I got Olajuwon, and
Jason
I got
Kidd on the Suns.
the Jordan rookie year home jersey.
Okay.
I got that. You know, where it wasn't
Nice.
like sewn in, where it was just like
Yeah.
pasted on sticky. Like
Oh,
pasted
yeah.
on.
The sticky tack.
Yeah, I got that one for sure. So
You
I got
the,
2.
The Jason Kidd.
I don't have. I'm gonna get a Jason Kidd.
I was going to
Don't
say,
you
I
have
don't
the
think I've ever
Suns
seen
one?
you rock a kid.
Oh, you're right. He's right. I do have a Jason
You
Kidd.
do have a
You're
Jason
right.
Kidd?
I wore it at Summer League.
Yeah.
He's right. I
know
forgot I
about you.
had that. Yes, it's a Suns one. I actually
we-
had 2.
We got another pick
And you
in,
couldn't
gentlemen.
remember
I couldn't even
either of
remember it.
OKC
You're right. And I
Thunder
had it on
at
yesterday.
44.
You're right.
Taking a Northwestern Wildcat,
Let's go.
Brooks
Barnhizer.
Barnhizer.
Yeah.
Wow,
That
I'm
name. Hey, shout out. That
Hey.
name right there, son.
Hey.
Barnhizer.
And he has a half a Charlie Chaplin stash to match in
Oh my
that picture
God.
they just showed of him.
He was on that all defensive team. All I see is fouls. That's all I see right now, baby. Barnhizer.
That was not a flattering photo of him. I'm not sure if he's still rocking that particular facial hair choice, but
Shout out to Barnhizer.
he might have also been on the not allowed within 100 yards of a school team. My God.
I was gonna go a different direction.
Barnhizer.
What's that, Katie?
I was gonna say not allowed within 100 feet of the Capitol team, but you know.
Yeah, that too.
A Tyler Kolek Knicks jersey. Listen, man, I would never. That is definitely one thing I would never buy. Is the Knicks? I would never buy.
I would never buy a Knicks jersey.
Anything.
No.
I don't care who's on that team.
But you know what? I'm guessing that
never
there
happen.
are some Bulls fans out there.
Oh, yes.
Who are also gigantic Derrick
Yes.
Rose fans.
Yes.
Who bought a D Rose Knicks jersey.
Yeah, I'll accept it if you have the whole collection. That's how I'll accept it.
Starting with Simeon.
Correct.
You got the Simeon jersey, the Bulls
Right.
jersey, Knicks,
Detroit.
Pistons, Grizzlies.
Right.
All of them.
Memphis.
Cavs.
Yo, let's
Remember
say-
when Derrick Rose was a Cav
Oh
for
yeah,
a hot second?
I say let's give him one made up when he got traded to Utah and then got traded to Detroit.
But see, case in point, when Joakim became a Knick, did I go out there and get a Joakim Noah Knicks jersey? And no.
Did you think about it?
Not even for
just
half
checking.
a second.
Just checking. Just checking.
I'm a Bulls fan.
Oh man, that's so sad. He said,
But I mean, Clippers is harmless.
I'm a Bulls fan.
Joakim's little last hurrah of his career
Yeah.
for the Clippers.
No, I feel you.
Sure.
I feel you.
That's not the same as getting a Knicks jersey.
No, you're right. I feel you on that. I feel you. That's the real.
Matt and I were talking about this earlier. What was your first NBA jersey?
Spoiler alert, Katie's was.
Oh, I don't remember that.
It was Kirk Heinrich, obviously.
Katie's, of course,
it was Kirk
Kirk.
Heinrich.
Kirk Heinrich. Wow. First NBA jersey.
Mine was a 45.
The Mike 45?
Mike 45 was my very first. Hanging on my wall at home right now.
Man, I don't know. Honestly, I don't remember. Because we weren't buying those jerseys. I mean, I'm youngest of 6, homie. We was spending that money on something else.
Yeah.
The one that I can remember buying, the first time for myself, was Ben Gordon.
Yeah.
That's the one I really remember buying.
Great jersey. And man, those couple years when Gordon was cooking,
Yeah.
those Ben Gordon jerseys were everywhere in Chicago.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
I definitely had a Ben. Oh, no.
Does anybody
There it
wear
is. I
7
remember.
for the-
I bought a Jason Kidd jersey when he was with New Jersey.
Man,
Wow.
you're really
He
doing
was
the
with New
kid
Jersey.
erasure.
Yeah. Kid erasure is going on.
It's one of your favorite players. You can't forget about him.
Oh, man. I wore that jersey everywhere. Yeah. I love that jersey. It was when New Jersey was in the cursive writing. It was the gray one. They didn't wear those often. It was cold. It was cold as hell. I love that jersey.
Goat.
The
What
two
about
jerseys
you?
I can remember getting, I don't remember which I had first, was a Ben Wallace Pistons jersey because I loved Ben Wallace.
Wow. So
Wow.
before Ben
Interesting.
Wallace's Bulls tenure, you got a
Wow.
Wallace Pistons jersey?
And I had a Steve Nash Suns jersey.
Nice.
like
Okay,
Steve
yeah,
Nash.
Nice.
that checks out.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that. I ain't
And
mad
then
at that at all.
I think I also maybe it was my brother's, but he had a Chris Webber and a Kevin Garnett jersey.
Yeah, I ain't mad at that either. KG was that deal. They kept saying Larry Johnson, Hornets. Oh, yeah.
dude.
Some good
That was
answers
hard.
in the chat. We have Alonzo Mourning. Somebody said Scottie Pippen, Larry Johnson. Some good ones.
Yeah.
Rob said Sean Kemp and Dominique Wilkins. I never got one, but I also loved the idea of getting an old school Hawks Wilkins jersey.
Yeah,
'Cause
those were hard, man.
Those 80s Hawks jerseys I always thought were so clean.
Yo, my man said he had a Leroy Loggins jersey.
Wow, pick number
Son.
45 is in the pick that the
Man.
Bulls used to own about 6 hours ago.
Yep.
For all the Australian fans, they're not going to love this one. Rocco Zikarsky.
Oh!
Rocco goes at 45,
Oh,
which
Could've
was
been.
the Bulls pick.
Oh, man.
Oh, Aussie
man.
Bulls Nation. This is a safe
Wow.
space. Let it out.
Now the draft starts, guys.
Yo.
Oh, man.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. Draft starts now.
Oh,
You got
my
Rocco.
goodness.
My God. Oh, man. Yeah, they not going to be happy about this at all.
Ooh.
Here comes the official announcement.
Wow.
'Cause
Oh.
he's going to read the trade first.
Did you see that picture of young draft night Joakim in the background? Oh.
Wait, he's going to go underneath with the card if he's reading the trade first.
Uh-huh.
Let's see how he rolls. Yeah, he's reading the trade.
Hey, there it was. There it was. It was quick.
Yeah. Quick
Blink
slip.
and you'll miss it.
It's hard to remember with the 44th pick in the 2025 NBA draft. So you have to have that one on one card.
Yes.
And then you put that behind, and then you see the person's name.
That's true.
And you don't want to walk up there with the cards with the person's name on it
Yeah.
and have it leak.
That's true. You're right. You
Gotta
want to break
protect it.
news. It was good interviewing him too, though, man.
It
Like,
was.
It was
and
really
the
cool.
Timberwolves now draft Zikarsky and Berenger. So I wonder what they're up to because they have 3 centers on their roster.
Yeah.
I guess Gobert's really their one true center, but
Sure.
Naz Reid and also the edits of this with him wearing Bulls gear is gonna
Man.
haunt some people.
You're gonna see this again if that young man turns into anything. Bulls Nation is petty and they forget nothing. This will
is
be
true.
shown again.
The Giddy Committee and the Rocco regime are going to be really unpleased about this.
Good day. Oh, man, dog. Yeah, that's a solid pick, though, I think. Like, just playing behind the guy who is starting over Gobert. Like, yeah, it's a good move for him. Good place for him to be.
Yeah, he's got to develop a lot. But
Yeah.
like
So he's
he's
got time. That's what I'm
huge,
saying.
and he can block shots.
Yes.
And like 45th overall pick, sure, why not?
So
But, like,
even with that, you can sneak him into the game just because, again, he has that, defensive versatility. You can sneak in a couple minutes and get a couple fouls and maybe a block and alter some shots or something like that and then go have a seat. So Yeah, good for him, man. Good for him. Sorry, Bulls Nation. We apologize, man.
I mean,
Horse Tiki.
the hilarious twist of fate. If the Bulls had just been there at 45 and he was on the board. Although, I mean, at the same time, say that did pan out that way. The Bulls don't make the trade with the Lakers earlier today. They have the 45th pick. They use it. They use it on Rocco Zikarsky. Immediately unfair expectations levied upon that poor young man by Bulls fans. Just because of the hype.
That's true about whoever they take.
No, I mean, to a point, but the amount of hype that I have heard from Bulls fans about freaking Rocco over the last several months.
Well, he was somebody that was a potential first round, even maybe a lottery pick at this time last year. So the expectations were kind of there, but he just didn't really add much. So, yeah.
Well, shout out
And
to
then
Rocco,
46 is in here to the Celtics. Amari Williams.
Amari Williams.
The pick that is going to. Ooh, he gets to read another. We're going to see another card flip if they
That's
do it.
right, because this is a
We'll see.
Orlando-Boston trade here
That's
at pick
right.
46.
That's right, man.
And then, on deck, the Milwaukee Bucks, who have just been like completely absent from the draft this year. Didn't have a first-round pick. I don't believe have made a pick thus far in the second round.
I don't recall.
I do not recall. I don't recall that.
I don't recall them having that.
I do not recall.
I do not recall that. Yes, Amari Williams, the center out
of Kentucky, going 46.
All right, Amari Williams. Don't know much about the young fella. Shout out to him for being drafted. Man, I wanted to add, because I don't know if you were able to give this take, but the trade of Desmond Bane going to Orlando, like, how did you feel about this?
Love it for both teams.
Okay.
One of those trades where I look at it both ways and I see, I think if there was a consensus one way or the other from what I saw, most people thought, wow, you gave up that many picks to get Desmond Bane.
Sure.
Is he really that good? I may have said it on a show earlier this week, but like to me, I think I mentioned it during the draft last night when we were talking. Bane's already under contract for many years, and he's making 30-something, I think, average annual salary. To me, that's why you give up that many picks, because you're getting a player who's already been paid and been paid a fair contract for the caliber of player he is, who's young and getting better. And you know, from the Memphis, so I love it for Orlando. They're adding a solid scoring punch guard that they desperately needed.
Desperate.
For a young up-and-coming playoff team.
Yeah.
I'll also love it from Memphis' direction, because whether they decide to really shake things up and move one of or either or both Ja and Jaren Jackson Jr., which most reports are saying that's not happening. We're keeping these guys. Even still, if you're trying to add a new third, complimentary star to those guys, you just got a whole wealth of first-round picks you can toss around the league to go get a player or players that you want.
And they did. They used one to, what was it? Move up to get Cedric Howard. Yeah.
Correct, yeah.
Hefty price to pay, but worth it. I mean, they really like that guy, and he's the Bane replacement. So it's Coward instead of Bane plus 3 additional first-round picks.
Yeah. So I like trade for both sides.
We talked about this, Matt. Do you think, how much better than Kobe is Desmond Bane? So when you think about contract stuff, how do you figure that out? Because you said he's a young player. He is, but I think he's actually a year older than Kobe.
So, entering his prime years.
He is 27.
27. Okay, so yeah.
Walking into those prime
Walking
years,
into those
Last
prime
year
years.
was his age 26 season.
Yeah.
Last year was Kobe's age 25 season.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's a year older than Kobe. And that contract he's on.
It was 5 years, 200 mil. So average of 40, but I think he's making just a tick under that right now.
Right. So comparatively to Kobe. So yeah, this year he'll make 36.7, then 39, 42, final year 28, 29, nearly 49. That when you talk about the true max and even super max contracts in the NBA these days, those numbers sound big, but they're not that big. So for that player, I think it's fair value. Comparing it to what Kobe might be due for a payday, knowing that the extension of what he's on now is not something Kobe's going to sign.
Yeah.
Nor should he, because he is more valuable than 140%, new contract compared to old contract, because Kobe given his performance last year, is on a contract where he's woefully underpaid. Do I think Kobe can sign himself a similar deal that gives him an average annual salary above $30 million on a 4 or 5 year deal? I can't confidently say that.
Okay.
I think Kobe could very easily prove to be worth a player worth that 23 to 28 range, maybe scraping close to 30. But no, I would put him like a half a tier below Bane probably.
Not that much of a tier, but yeah, I
They're
agree
close.
with that.
They're close is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with that. And also, I've watched Desmond Bane just drop 20 a season for several seasons.
Yeah, he's been more consistently productive.
Yeah.
He averaged almost 24 a game 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And has been over 20 twice and 19 last year, down year. But like he's a bigger guy. I think he's a better defender, and I think he's a little bit better of a passer, but not that much. He's like been over 5 assists per game for the last couple of years.
Ooh, Bubba Lug.
But Gottlieb, I like that pick for them. Yeah, he can space it out.
I believe his
he can
name
play.
is Bubba Love.
Bubba Lug.
Bubba Gump.
Buddy Love.
Still got his braces. Shout out to him.
Wow, yes he does.
That's a young fella.
The very rare NBA braces.
Very rare. Somebody else
Him
in the
and
first
Thomas
round had
Sorber.
him. That's who it was. Thank you. Thomas Sorber had his together, man.
He just lost his first tooth. These guys are so young. It's crazy.
I hear that Tooth Fairy brings some legit cash when you get drafted to the NBA.
Oh, straight out of Serbia.
Woo!
He's good. He's gonna be like a power forward center type who can like dribble, pass, shoot.
Wait, hold on. Is that
Wow,
team he's
big.
playing for, those pink jerseys? They look familiar. Is that Marko Simonovic's
Is that
old
Marco's
team?
jerseys?
It is.
I swear to
Mecca.
God, that's Marco's old team.
Hey, legend in the making.
Yes, sir.
It's also Nikola Topic's old team and Nikola Jokic's old team.
Markovic. Bubba Lug. Second round. 47 pick. Shout out to you.
That is the first action of this year's draft for the Milwaukee Bucks.
All right.
That could have been a great draft and stash at 45, but
Yeah.
he might be over this year. I mean, he's here at the draft, so
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That's true.
So now we got Memphis on the clock at 48. We are getting closer to that pick number 55 when we find out when the Bulls, or if the Bulls will make a selection, draft and stash, or maybe trade on out again. Take a look at our best available board, Katie, if you want to throw that back up. Still plenty of names here. I believe Kobe Brea did get
Yeah, we got-
taken, did he
Oh
not?
yeah, I
Got a little
forgot
bit
to
of an
gray
update
out.
here.
My
Okay,
bad.
yeah, as well as Maxime
Yeah, take a
and
look at
Markovic.
the-
We just saw Rocco. We just saw get taken.
Use the logos. I just forgot to gray out the names. But
So also, I believe Jameer Watkins has been taken off the board.
So yeah, Dink Pate is an interesting player. He was a G League Ignite guy actually, but they obviously shut down. So he played with the Mexico City Capitanes the last couple of years in the G League, and he is a big wing who can kind of create some offense, handle the ball a little bit. So kind of an interesting skill set. Alex Tui, similar player, Australian guy who big wing can dribble. And pass, and then just took it away, so I forget who I was looking at with the guards. Tyrese Proctor from Duke, who was really solid there, another Australian. So as Javon Small here goes to Memphis, this is a guy
Another
that
pick in. Grizzlies at 48, taking West Virginia guard Javon Small.
this is a guy that was like
Another braces.
there was like a small group of draft Twitter who's really hyping him up. He's little, he's a guard, but he can shoot and defend. I think he'll be all right. He'll be
be all
solid.
right.
That is a very
Wonderful
green
suit.
And
suit.
like
Yeah,
any
but he's
player
working
that gets drafted to the Grizzlies, you feel good that they're gonna develop.
Yeah. Yeah.
They'll like hit pretty close to their upside.
Yes, 100% agree with that, man. Their development team, man, has just been outstanding. For
Like
those young players.
that's how a small market team should operate.
Yeah, I agree.
Invest in, player development, hit on guys in the second
Ooh.
round, make the occasional swing when you need to, hit on the guys that you need to hit on. Number 2 overall pick, John Morant. Number 3 overall pick, Jaren Jackson.
40.5
he was-
max vertical.
He was good at the combine. And then, like what I liked about the Bane trade was like, okay, they recognized we are not in a position to compete for a championship this year. We're getting bowled over with an incredible offer of 4 first-round picks for one of our 3 most important players, but probably our 3rd most important player.
Yes.
Like, we can still hang on to our top 2 guys, still win 45 games next year,
Yeah.
and also make some real moves now because we have real assets to move forward with. So I really like that for them. Obviously, the price was just like, you can't say no to that.
Yeah.
For the Magic, it's a hefty price to pay, but we talked about it. I mean, I think he's just such a great fit there. And you think about the possible options, what they could have gone after at that price point, guys who could really shoot it and space the floor, but also run some offense. Like, he was just the perfect fit.
Shugo Shin in the comments saying Dink Pate, hell of a name.
That is a
I
name.
was thinking like Key and Peele East West College Bowl. That is straight out of one of those sketches. Arja Charger saying, I was so excited for a second that we would have 2 Aussies on the team. But Michael Pern in the comments pointing out 2 Aussies left, Proctor and Tui.
And Proctor is off the board now at 49.
Hey, there you go. Breaking Aussie Bulls fans' hearts left and right.
Go digit like he did Matt yesterday.
That was so funny.
And Cedric Howard has been traded.
I figured you would know that the Bulls were not involved in a trade up one spot.
Should have.
Oh man!
But in those spur
moments,
of the moment moments, Coach,
yeah.
my foolish heart lets itself get excited.
Loves the Bulls, man.
So as we near the 50th pick here, I'm just wondering, am I going to have heard of whoever the Bulls take at 55?
Will it be a
guessing
name
no.
on the best available board or in your diehard draft guide?
Hopefully it's my guy Nelson, man. But no, it won't be. But yeah, man, I don't know what they want to do at this point in time. Trading down and seeing all this talent, you know what I'm saying, continue to leave. It's like you're getting down to the bare bones of it. And you're now down with teams as, I can't remember which one of you said it, but down with the teams who made the playoffs and are in the finals and, you know, around that kind of level with teams who was just like, yeah, we'll just take a guy right here. That's what the Bulls are like. Yeah, let's take a guy right here. And that's why it's confusing because you're not in that position to just say, hey, we'll just take a guy right here. You need everything.
You know, the other
All the stuff.
The other thing that I thought as another just like, oh, bummer, that kind of would have been fun and funny. If the Bulls had kept that 45 pick and had they, thinking about the post-Vooch years, taken Rocco Zikarsky, I would have demanded that they bring Luke Longley in to their coaching and development staff. Former Aussie big man Bull coaching up the new one.
Yeah.
Need that.
Yeah.
We know Luke Longley's been doing work for the Australian national team.
He has, yeah. Rocco shouted him out for sure when we was talking about the people who have impacted, you know what I'm saying, his game and his life. And he spoke really fondly about Luke Longley and the things that he's done for him.
Luke Longley, he just seems a very great level dude.
Yeah,
and
man.
Who's you know, found a passion for coaching up the younger generation of Aussie basketball players.
Yeah. Got the fire in his belly.
Yeah,
Fire in
after
my
saving
belly.
his family from the fire in his house. It
That's true.
was like the only Luke Longley headline for years after he was just like, you know what, I don't want to play in NBA anymore. And you know what, good for him, man.
Yeah, for real.
Did you ever get a chance to watch that little like mini Luke Longley
No.
doc that came out from some Australian broadcasting company?
No, I didn't.
Dude, it's on YouTube.
I know it's good.
The whole thing.
Yeah.
Phenomenal.
I know it's good.
It is so good.
Shout out for Mike Jordan being up in that joint, showing love. man.
MJ gave him some time
Yeah.
for the Luke doc.
That's showing
'Cause
love
Some
right
people
there.
wonder, like, dude, where was Luke Longley in this 10-part documentary series, The Last Dance?
You think either of those guys will be at the Ring of Honor this season?
I
I bet money on Luke.
Longley came through for the last one.
He was.
Yeah, I put money on
Because
Luke.
he was a member of the 95-96
But I wonder
team.
if they're going to honor, like did they honor a specific team?
So
Usually.
the first Ring of Honor, they honored the
Yeah, so they're gonna
95-96 team as a whole,
So they're
in
gonna
addition
honor
to
each of
individual
those
players.
teams.
They got
So,
5
like,
more chances
Yeah,
to see
they got
if
12
Mike
years
shows up.
worth of.
Bulls got to sell some tickets to some stuff.
To see if Mike shows up, see if Scotty shows up.
Yeah. And
My
you know that
goodness.
Ring of Honor night is going to be different than Derrick Rose retirement night part 2.
Part 2.
Got to pack it to the rafters,
Oh.
fill those shelves to the Madhouse store.
They got to have it, man.
Got to have it.
Got to have it. Those 2 nights.
Let's
got to
just,
have it.
you know, what's up, Katie?
I was just going to say it's the point in the show where I hop on to tell you to hit the like. I would like to get to 200 before the Bulls pick. And
We freaking better, or you
there's
don't
like-
get a take-a-thon spin. Oh, wait.
you don't get a draft pick. We're 29 away, so let's just make that happen,
Let's
please.
get those likes up. Also, who's feeling generous tonight? Throw us a super chat. Do we have any super chats, Katie?
It's feeling generous.
That's unacceptable.
I saved a few that I like, though. Do you want to go through those?
Sure, yeah, let's do it.
This is
Super
maybe my favorite comment of all time. Katie will trade you for cash considerations if you don't hit the like. It's true, I will.
Oh, that's good.
And then maybe Chicago thought they were trading for cash
Cash
Knuppel considerations. Yeah.
Was one of his younger brothers named Cash?
Yeah, the youngest one.
He sure was.
No, the youngest one was Kid Man.
Oh, sorry,
remember?
you're right. Cash was my favorite. That's how I saw it. I just like that kid.
Cash,
Unacceptable.
Kagan.
Another pick.
Here we go. We
right
got
here
Tyrese Proctor at pick 49.
to the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Hey, Spike!
And there's Spike Lee
What
because
up, Spike?
the Knicks are on the clock. Shout out to Spike
For
Lee.
the rest of time, whether it's Spike or just like some random Knicks fan in the stands, whenever I see Knicks fan in and around the NBA draft, I will always think of the uproar of boos when they drafted Kristaps. You remember that?
Oh, man.
You remember
pissed.
that? They were
Pissed.
furious
They were
that night.
pissed, dog.
Like, boo! Boo this man!
Who is this guy?
It's like, yeah, Kristaps is pretty good.
Yeah, man. We know what? Who booed? What boo? We had boo. It was that look right there. What boo? What are you talking about?
Spike just gave the MJ
Get
shot,
out of
baby.
here. All those Knicks. Interesting. Got Tibbs up out of here. And Tibbs in 5, as I told you. He's going to be gone. They still haven't hired a coach.
Still have not.
Still
Who
have not.
did I? There was some report of their most recent interview today. So, James Borrego,
Okay.
who
Shout
has
out.
been somewhere as an associate head coach. I can't remember where, but he is
somewhere.
the latest interview
He's coached somebody.
that was brought in from the Knicks.
Also somewhere is Kobe Sanders, who was taken with the 50th overall pick by the Lakers, who traded New York is trading the 50th pick to the Clippers, where Los Angeles moves up from 51 to take Kobe Sanders. Okay, Clippers.
There you go.
Come on, Clippers.
Kobe Sanders at 50.
And by the way, it
Moving up
was
from 51.
Jake Fisher, our guy working hard on that
Fish
Stein
guy.
line with Mark Stein, who said earlier today James Borrego's interview with the Knicks head coaching job is scheduled to be held in person this weekend.
Okay.
So that interview has not actually happened yet, but he is the next name on the list after the Knicks ran out of names.
At a certain point, you have to just focus on the draft.
Yeah.
But wouldn't you kind of want to get a coach hire in before the draft?
Yes, that's
To, work
kind
with
of
them
how
on
you would
that?
do it.
Yeah, I didn't hear it
Not
because
that,
we were all
the
here doing our
51st
show
pick
last
is really
night
gonna make
and
a
have
difference.
the broadcast on mute, but I saw an awful announcing write-up about it today.
Okay.
Apparently Stephen A. was going off on his whatever allotment of time of last night's draft coverage they gave him about how the Knicks don't have a coach yet.
It's so wild, dog. The Knicks.
Making draft selections without a coach. You know?
I saw a tweet that was like, it was crazy that Bob Myers was not on the broadcast last night. Former GM who's
Knows all the nooks
drafted
and crannies
Klay
of draft
Thompson
night.
and
Yeah.
Draymond Green.
No, but they needed Stephen A. Smith there instead, for sure.
Yeah, paying on the most. Get on camera, sir. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Do we have to?
100 mil? Yeah. We got to. Dog racing? Yo, Stephen A. Needs you out here,
My
son.
goodness. That train's never late. Southgar saw in the comments when talking about the Knicks and their coaching search. Mark Jackson, question mark?
Mark Jackson.
guess what?
Yeah. Still
If
on the
if they
still on the
wanted to
clock.
interview Mark Jackson, they would have already because he ain't doing nothing.
Brian Julia was in the comments earlier, sir. She was in here. She was up in there. But yes, we were telling you.
What up
sir.
to our guy Strick? I
Hello.
don't know if I've said what's up to him yet. I just saw a comment of his as Katie scrolling through.
Shout out to Strick.
I hope you're well, Strick. Hope you're enjoying your off season.
Yeah, man. Real cool stuff.
I'm not ever gonna let you forget that you were trying to convince us the Bulls were gonna beat the Cavs in the first round playoff series. Bless your heart. Bless your heart.
Do you think he actually believed it, or do you think he was just
he was
said it and
adamant.
he was dying?
He was hanging out with us at our Hooters.
I
watch
remember,
party
but I
night.
just wonder, was he just dying on that hill because it was a fun argument?
No,
or
bro,
did
he pulled me
actually,
to the side. It was
He
the
pulled you
first
aside,
thing
alright.
he
I
said.
saw the look in his eyes.
Yeah.
He was dead serious.
I was worried when he said, "Hey, man, I got to tell you something." And I was like, "Yo, what's wrong?" And then he told me that, and I was like, "Oh, okay." Wait, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, all right, man. I don't know.
You know what?
Karn was there too. I
It's
think.
okay.
What was
We all are allowed bad
Cleveland.
takes from time to time.
What was the bet Karn made with him? I can't remember what it was. I think it was something like if they win one game, then I will give you whatever
and
we're betting.
Carm, you guys just had Carm on your musical chairs episode, whatever last week. Carm admitted, I was drinking the Kool-Aid towards the end of that Bulls run.
He did
last season, and even he was like, "No, come on."
He's like, I was having fun.
What was that Carm impression? Sorry?
Yeah, come on.
That's pretty good.
It's not bad. Not bad.
Shout out Carm.
All right.
It was he? Did you see Carm at the Eversley press conference yesterday? Goat.
Yep, he was there
hanging out,
doing some stuff. I don't know what exactly. But
I love how
he's
Carm just does little side quests in the Bears offseason.
Yeah,
he just pops up at random events. I love it.
And
pops up on the White Sox show.
We all know
too.
Carm secretly he's on our CHGO Bears crew.
Huge.
And a great part of our CHGO Bears crew. Insane Bulls fan.
Yeah, huge, man.
And probably wishes that he could just talk about the 80s, 90s Bulls all the time instead of the 2020s Bears.
I don't fault him for this.
Me neither.
I don't fault him for this.
Way more
at
fun.
all. Man.
We got to pick in here the Clippers.
They will be taking Kobe Sanders in that
Kobe
trade.
Sanders. Yep, that trade with the Knicks.
Yeah.
All right, so who do we got 52? Now we got Phoenix up 52.
Phoenix again at 52. Man, dog, I really enjoy what Phoenix has done in this draft, especially when we were just talking about it. We talking about the direction of the team and where they're going, and it didn't seem like that they were trying to make any kind of moves, but once they got all those picks, I thought it gave them a direction where they kind of wanted to go.
Yeah.
When they got those picks from that trade for Kevin Durant. And they're using them. I mean, my God. And not just using them to, using all five, but making trades, moving up, moving down, wheeling and dealing. That's what you're supposed to do, man. Figure it out, put it together, and get better. That's what you're supposed to do. So, shout out to them, man, for making those moves.
Shams just now saying the Knicks moved Kobe Sanders to the Clippers. Knicks now have 51.
And they take
Mohamed Diawara.
Another Frenchman.
Man.
Uh-huh.
Bronze at the 2022 U17 World Championship.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Strick says he was just dying on the hill.
What was the last?
Shout out to Strick for that super chat. Dying on that Bulls beating the Cavs hill.
It's a grim death.
Good for you, Strick. Didn't even get there.
Oh, man.
Didn't even get the dramatic death scene at the end.
got shot on the way there.
It was a collateral damage stray bullet away from the fighting.
I was just getting the paper.
Our guy, Kalen Cox. What up, Kalen? Throwing us a super chat saying, saw a clip of Noah Essengay locking up Antonio Blakeney during my research last night. Good reminder of the Bulls fan that things could always be worse. Keep up the great work, guys.
As well.
Much love, Kalen. Appreciate you checking in.
Going up.
Also, who dare lock up Antonio Blakeney?
That doesn't happen. Going up king.
You
right
can't
there.
lock him up.
Can't stop. You can only hope to contain him. You kidding me? That shot is
You
going
can
up.
only hope to contain him, his 287 dribbles, and his step back
right.
jumper.
That's right.
Woo!
One on the clock. Still time to dribble.
That man loves to shoot.
He'll get 2 dribbles in with 1 second left. He'll get 2 more in. Tap, tap. And then it's going up,
I
man.
can still get a couple dribbles in. Oh, my good. Jimmy Lip World throwing us a super chat. Thank you, Jimmy Lip World.
shout
One of
out,
our
man.
OGs from
For
back in the
real.
day.
Shout out.
Shout out from New Zealand, CHGO guys and Katie. Love y'all for the hard work you do. Keeps me sane for real. Wanted Cedric too. Shout out Cedric Coward. But good with Essengay. Bienvenue a les Bulls. So excited, fam. Cash C is still available at 55. Let's go get it. Cash considerations just sitting there.
He got in every Bulls take.
Truly.
Right there in that super chat.
That is
man.
a
was
great,
really
that
the
was
whole
impressive.
jam-packed super chat.
Well
Jimmy
done.
World.
That is efficiency. I
Yes.
love it.
Love too, yeah.
That's how it's done.
Crashing
right
out
there.
in the super chats.
Shout out to
Crash out the super
Echo57 who
chats.
said best thing about the Bulls is CHGO Bulls.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate the love. It's sad if you think that's true, but we're happy to be here for you.
I'll take it.
I
I'll take
mean, Modest
it.
is number
Alex
one. We'll
Tui,
take
a nice
number
pick from
two.
the-
Modest
for
is
the
number
Suns.
one.
We'll take number two.
We'll take number 2 behind Modest.
Pick is in for Phoenix. Go.
Alex Tui, Australian.
There you
wing,
go. There's another Aussie off the board.
Good passer,
Oi,
high
oi,
field
oi.
guy. It's a nice pick there.
Alex 2A.
Oh no, so that's going to the Warriors actually.
Oh.
And the Warriors have done really well in the 50s the last couple of years. They got Trace Jackson Davis, Quentin Post, and Guy
Evening
Santos.
Post.
All guys who were playing in the playoffs for them. And then Utah at
Bulls
pick
killer
53, John Tanji from Wisconsin.
Oh, man.
Okay, we got a badger. You got a badger getting drafted.
Tackles.
2 picks before the Bulls franchise-changing selection at 55.
Oh my
Oh,
goodness.
it's funny because it's sad.
Yeah.
I got Sam Vecini's draft guide up just to be safe.
Just to
here,
be
'cause
safe.
He
This is good.
did more homework than me.
He
He's
is
got like
very
100 players.
Shout out
thorough.
If he doesn't have whoever the Bulls take, then I won't feel as bad.
Okay. All right. He'll feel a little bit better.
William Farlow in the comments, meanwhile, asking, do you guys see the Bulls getting takers for Patrick Williams, Vooch, Lonzo, and or Kobe? Maybe some combination of Vooch, Lonzo, Kobe. Lonzo, 100%.
Yeah.
They should still be, and reportedly by some still are, getting calls on Lonzo.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, the smoke around the Advocate Center last night was that the Bulls were pretty active, like more active than they had been in the past about Vooch and Lonzo.
Oh, what a move.
But I think that the reality is, like, they're not finding suitors on these guys. And if they were, I think these trades would have been made. And so what my interpretation of that is that it's like second-round picks, but the Bulls just sold the second-round pick. I don't think they value second-round picks. So they're waiting. They're holding out for value that they feel is more meaningful to them, and I just don't know that they'll get it. So that's why I think those guys will be around. Obviously, a lot can change still. Maybe there's a consolidation move. Maybe they push some chips in terms of draft assets. Who knows? But I just think that if there were offers out there, first-round picks for those guys, they would have already taken them.
Yeah.
Shout out to one of our regulars, Connor Ladone, in the comments saying, not asking for much here, Bulls. Just give us a dude that has good nickname potential. Katie's in agreement.
Nickname potential.
NBA useful player potential? Yeah, okay.
I don't care.
What we really need is nickname potential.
If I have to hear Boozy Vert more than 10 times,
I can't.
like, I can't do it.
No,
I can't
we
do
need
it.
a new nickname for Matas.
Yeah.
No offense to Stacy, who's great with the nicknames.
Really good with the
But
nickname.
I'm just still not on board with Lil Boozy Vert. I'm sorry. I can't even say it with a straight face. It's so bad.
I hate hearing you say it.
It's terrible.
All right, Jazz's pick. Jazz.
Jazzercise. Jazzity jazz.
Tat-tat-tat-tat.
Shout out to Mr. Fancy Pants with a $4.99 super chat saying, did I just buy a second round draft pick? Oh, that's a winner.
Mr. Fancy Pants
Winner,
is killing it in the
Fancy
comments.
Dinner
From the
Mr.
top
Fancy
rope.
Pants. Oh my God, that is hilarious.
From way downtown.
I'm sorry, Mr. Fancy Pants. It's actually going to cost you $9.99, not $4.99, to get that Bulls second round draft pick.
That was amazing.
Is that how these work? Yep. Sorry,
All
you
right.
said you didn't send your super chat straight to Jerry's direct
I
deposit.
think you're a couple zeros short on that.
Yeah,
one.
the trade has been declined.
The Utah pick is in.
John Tonje? Tonhe? I
I
don't
thought it
know.
was Tanji, but
Tanji?
I could be wrong about that.
Tonje.
Tangier.
I want it to be Tonje.
Target. Pick 53.
No, I was laughing at a text I got. Sorry.
I was reading the chat. I didn't hear what you said.
He's probably going to get mad at me about this, but Casey tweeted me, the Bulls select Nikola Jokic.
Also, flex.
Oh God. Well, we are getting close here.
All right. We're
Pacers
one
on the
pick away.
clock at 54. We are one pick away
Let's get excited. Whoever we pick might be a Taco Bell
from
commercial.
finding
Oh,
out
no. Oh,
We
no.
might get the
That-
Taco Bell treatment.
that the Bulls have
Please let
traded
it
their
happen.
pick. And during
I
a
wanna remember
T-Bell
this moment for the
timeout,
rest of my
Mr.
life.
Fancy Pants has drafted somebody we've never heard of.
Oh my goodness, man.
My God, I so badly want to see that come across the screen. Like, Bulls have traded their pick to Mr.
Fancy pants.
The first player off the board who I have not heard of to the Indiana Pacers at 54, Talon Peter.
Talon Peter. Talon
What did you say?
Peter. Talon Peter.
Talon? Mm-hmm. Like Talon Horton Tucker Talon? Mm-hmm. Peter.
That one was not on Sam Vecini's, so I feel better.
And he was, I was going to say, I just did a scroll through your second round names on your Die Hard draft board and not seeing a Talon Peter.
Out of Liberty University.
Ew.
Liberty.
Liberty.
Taelon.
Oh, Talon.
Talon?
Talon Peter.
Got nothing on that one for you boys.
Talon Peter. 15 points a game. 5 rebounds. Shout out to Mr.
Talon Peter. I never know what he's doing back
Never know where's
there.
Talon Peter. Where's Peter at? 6'4", 210.
Sugar shit in the comments. That's not a real person.
Out of Arkansas. 3
Brian
seasons.
Genesis in the comments, crossing their fingers for Nemhard.
I think
Nemhard's
they're
still
going
on the board?
I,
Nemhard
he is.
Jr.?
I think they're going though like European player who's not going to come over. This is not.
That sounds
They're
right.
not moving
That sounds
down
right.
10 picks to take a guy
That sounds right.
to sign him to that 15th roster spot. This is going to be a stash or a sale if they can. I would imagine. Like,
Well, let's take a look at your best available remaining. Pretend that Alex Tui's name is grayed out because I forgot to do it again.
Yep.
But you could see the other 4 there.
King Pate, Nemhard.
yeah, I mean, it just kind of depends on what position you're looking for. Pate was like he had a lot of hype going into the G League Ignite, but he's never really panned out. Nemhard was kind of like a late riser, somebody who played 4 years at Gonzaga, gets a ton of assists, like smaller point guard. Honestly, Trey Jones is probably a good comp for him. And then Vlad Golden was the Michigan center. He's huge. He's just like a screen setter, soft touch around the rim, but older. So just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But again, none of these guys, like when I put this together, it was like, who could be there at 45 who maybe they signed to a 2-way or contributes next year. I think it's going to be a player who is not on this board, is somebody that they are going to look at to stash overseas for a couple years before their roster release opens up with a bunch of players coming off next season. Maybe they can bring them over then.
Talon Peter.
AJ Ace in the comments pointing out the Pacers are on the clock here, and there is a Nemhard on the board. Got to make them reunite.
Can I just say Talon Peter shot 50% from the field, 40% from 3, 86% from the free throw line, and played 3 years for the Arkansas Tech Wonder Boys. That is a real name.
The Arkansas Tech didn't know that was a school.
Yes.
Secondly, Wonder Boys.
Yes, correct. He played there 3 years before going to Liberty for the final.
Did they let Tenacious D name their school's mascot? Wonder Boys.
Mr. Peck.
What is the secret of your power? Oh my
The
goodness.
Wonder Boys. Oh my gosh.
Also, Vladislav, you are in the wrong draft, pal. The NHL draft is tomorrow night. You are lost, sir. Vladislav. No.
He said you are lost. It's down the hall to the left. No, the other left.
Yeah.
Your other left.
Come check back in with the CHGO Blackhawks crew tomorrow night.
They're like, we'll take them. We'll take them. We got it, guys. We got it.
Oh, this poor soul named Vladislav found his way to the
He was
NBA
wandering
draft.
off. Little fella got a little lost on the way down there. Right there, sir. Here's your skates. All right. Going down. Have a good one. Shout out. Do you want a jersey of the Wonder Boys or anything? No? Okay.
And the Pacers pick is Talon Peter.
Talon Peter.
So here we go.
So
55,
Talon
the Lakers, which is actually the Bulls. Draft and stash.
He sounds so.
Matt, you sound like
Yeah,
you.
so you heard it too. He sounds.
Did the
so
Bulls just
like,
win
yo,
the championship?
He was higher on
55.
Talon Peter than he was supposed.
Owned
he
by
was
the
Talon
Lakers.
Peter.
The Bulls,
Going
guys.
to the Pacers, and the Bulls are now on the clock. Rah.
55th
Get
pick.
off my plane.
It says the Lakers, but it's actually the Bulls.
I'm just trying to contain my excitement about this pick.
Oh my god.
There's a lot of people in our chat that are confused. We have the 55th pick. I know that ESPN says that it's the Lakers.
Right.
I know that what you're seeing on your TV says that it's the Lakers.
Yeah, I don't know why they do that.
They cannot update it because it's
Once
not
they
like
make the
official,
pick, it'll
official.
say like proposed trade.
Yeah,
underneath.
you see it
Exactly.
on there now.
So, like-
Oh, there you go, yeah.
When the Bulls selected Rocco for the Minnesota, who ended up with that pick.
Mm-hmm.
When it's on draft night, it's like we make the agreement, we make the trade, but the team that held the pick originally is the team that makes
pick is in. Remember the commercial? It's Dave & Buster's.
Oh,
remember the commercial?
I'm sorry, Dave & Buster's is still a thing?
Yeah, it's
Good
a thing.
for them. Hanging in there.
The pick is in.
The pick is in.
Still
Who's it
hasn't
gonna
been
be?
tweeted. I wonder if it'll be tweeted before.
I mean, yeah.
Maybe after they
It's
announce
got
the
to be
extension.
whoever some of the Izan. I just saw some dude named Izan from Spain.
Izan Almanza?
Yeah,
Is that the
he
pick?
was number 3 on
Almanza.
Bills' best available board right before they cut back to commercial. If you're talking about easier to draft and stash players,
20 years old.
He also played in the
Spanish-born
G
player.
League. Was that the pick? I didn't see anything.
no, I'm just saying that was a name. That was the first international name I saw on Billis's top available board before they cut to commercial. If the Bulls are going to go the international prospect route.
They're going to trash in the stash. Cash is consideration is. Well done, flip side.
Oh my
I
goodness.
see you. Well
Maybe
done,
they
sir.
forgot they were drafting. It's been 6 years.
That's right, Connor. Late second round energy is a vibe.
Wait, what do you mean we got to make a pick? I'm on the plane right now. What are you talking about? Oh, God.
Who are you talking to?
They held
Okay,
it on
guys,
auto
take
draft.
this Taylor Peter guy.
We already
Like,
closed up shop for the night.
Taylor Peter's gone. What? Oh, God. What are we doing? Well, they picked someone because they moved on to 56.
Oh, wow.
There is a rule where if you don't make the pick in time, they skip you.
Okay.
Wait,
Okay, I mean, the skip has happened. They
Wait,
are on to
they
56.
just said, they just moved
Yeah,
the clock to Memphis at 56.
they are on to 56.
What the hell just happened?
What just happened?
They just skipped the Bulls
Was a pick made?
because the league doesn't care.
Was a pick?
Oh,
First, let's
here-
look at the. Oh,
Lachlan Olbrich?
Is that who we
we
selected?
just took?
is this it?
An Aussie big man. I don't know if this is the Grizzlies pick. Yeah, it looks like the Grizzlies pick.
I don't.
They
know.
literally just deleted
It's
the Bulls pick at 55 being
No,
a
that's
thing.
the Bulls pick. That is the
Okay.
Bulls pick. Yes,
Okay,
that is the
yes.
Bulls pick.
Australian center Lachlan
Bulls-
Olbrich.
They do get an Australian after all.
They
Congratulations.
get their Aussie. That's right, Joey Base got in the comments. We got an Aussie. There you go. Whoever else wanted one.
All right. Congratulations.
Rob, I had the wrong Aussie center.
Congratulations
So
to him.
Vicini has him 55th on his big board. Kevin O'Connor has him 60th on Yahoo. I'll just read off some strengths and weaknesses here.
Sure.
So 6'10 center playing with the Illawarra Hawks, which was LaMelo Ball's team, if I recall correctly. 6'10", 230 pounds, 21 and a half years old, 8.9 points, 3.9 rebounds, 1.8 assists, 6'11 wingspan, and a 31-inch max vert.
Ooh, 31.
Attributes, or I guess I'll start with the summary in comparison. So, high motor Aussie big who projects as a screen and dive reverse and plays reserve, and plays with a tone-setting level of toughness that could keep him in a rotation. The comparison is Goga Badatse, who is a player I really like. Attributes: basketball IQ, got that dog in him, and downhill attacker.
Okay.
Strengths: playmaking, at rim finishing, high motor, concerns, defensive upside, and shooting.
This is
Vooch?
this is Cameron Bairstow with a mustache. This is what I'm seeing right here. I mean,
that's
cool.
cold. That's cold-blooded.
but yeah,
Not mad at you. I'm just saying it's
yes,
cold-blooded.
Colin calling Cameron Bairstow, Aussie, big man,
Oh, wait.
seldom used after the Bulls took him.
Very
We have Cameron Bairstow 2.0, folks.
All right.
Because the first time around, it was so effective.
See you in Summer League. See you there, man.
Yeah. Oh, you know he's getting minutes
Oh, tons.
and
He's
buckets
starting.
and boards.
He's starting. Are you kidding me?
Although,
He's
like,
at the
can you
five.
come and play in summer league if they're just then going to be like, just kidding, but like go away for now? Like we don't want you for the actual season.
No, they can do that. They can
Yeah.
they can bring him over and then stash him back in
They're
Australia.
all about that stash life. All right. Can be pushed. I don't like seeing it. Can be pushed around under the rim in box outs. Not a fan
Did
of
you
that.
say can or can?
Can.
Oh, you can push him around.
He can. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
He might be 6'10", but you can push
Yeah,
him
you can
around.
push him. No. Go ahead. All right, you got it.
Wow.
You're right, Echo. He's
Amari
no Johnny
Green.
Firth.
Giddy said this one. Yeah, gotta have that Aussie representation.
The Bulls' international roster is probably longer than the American one at this point. You have Vooch, Giddy, Essengay. I don't know if you count Modest or not. He's going to play for the Lithuanian team. Lachlan Olbrich. I don't know. I guess that's it.
It sounded great going in.
I thought there were more.
Wait, yeah, isn't there a Canadian in there somewhere? Or am I misremembering?
I have to look on up.
Emmanuel Miller might be.
Let's see. I'm gonna go look definitely at the roster. Well, not Dalen, not Julian. Roster. Okay.
They've probably let a couple of guys go as well.
David Lithgow with a super chat saying, "Fellas, telling you he can play." Well, there you go.
All right.
Then it must be true.
Must be true.
All right, so there it is. With the Bulls did hold on to that pick at 55 and make a selection. Another big man, an Aussie big man. Aussie Bulls Nation, rejoice. So, gentlemen, before we wrap up tonight, just sort of let's circle back to this whole plan that the Bulls executed, which was earlier today, making that trade down initially with the Lakers from 45 to 55. And yes, that phrase that Bulls fans love to hate and hate to hear, cash consideration. Given where the team is, given where the roster construction is, knowing that you sign Giddy, you sign Essengay, and boom, you're at 14, you can make your peace, I think, in certain ways with the fact that they did trade down and are looking with the pick that they did select maybe at a draft and stash guy. Is it also fair to question whether or not AK could have gotten something other than cash when making a trade and making the 45th pick available to any and all takers ready to come to the Bulls with an offer, other than just saying, "Hey, Lakers, you got some bills in your billfold"? Because I think that is the thing that you can be skeptical and critical of today.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, as a team that has not seen 500 in 3 seasons, when you're making these kind of moves, it kind of says that you're successful, that you have made deep playoff runs. You know what I'm saying? Like, you've kind of got answers at everything that, on your roster right now. Like, you've got answers and real solid answers and guys you can move forward with for the next few years. Even still, in fact, that happens. Even teams like OKC still make the move up in the draft to try to get these draft picks. You know what I'm saying? Even the Pacers we saw. Even teams like Phoenix, who doesn't have a lot, still making moves to move up. Even the Brooklyn Nets we saw still making those moves to move up. So it strikes that kind of a chord in my brain when I see those kind of things start happening for this Bulls team. But like I said, man, like, it just feels like par for the course at this point in time. It's where everybody just hears cash considerations, as you said, Matt, and frets, a little bit when it's like that. Yeah, I wish they would have done something more. I would have loved more talent and higher end kind of talent. And again, it's the second round. This is no disrespect to who they drafted, but I'm just saying there were players, ahead of him that on paper and from what I saw had a little bit more talent, a little bit more to offer this Bulls roster. So for them to it felt like maybe standing pat a little bit, Matt, and not rocking the boat, moving down to simply not rock the boat, but also get some money back, which they have shown over the years that they value very, very highly. And I wish they valued these picks higher, and I wish they valued talent higher, more so than they did actual finances and things like that. But maybe that's a pipe dream, just from a fan wanting a team to actually be and operate like that. But that's kind of how I look at it. It left a sour taste in my mouth after the Essengay pick, where I was like, yeah, okay, solid pick. Nice. All right. What are you going to do with round 2? Let me see. Oh, okay, 45. You kind of got something. Let's see what they can pick up. And you trade down from that and climb off that hill. Now, Mark Eversley did kind of warn us in that press conference. He said, hey, there's a possibility we trade down. There's a possibility we trade out, of this draft. So he kind of let you know it might be coming. But even though he told you, when you see it, it still, hits you in the pit of the stomach.
Yeah, and I think like they're going to say, look, we have 12 players on the roster. We want to bring back Giddey. We just drafted Noah Essengay. That's 14 players out of 15 on the roster. And we want some flexibility to be able to maybe make a free agent signing, maybe bring back Trey Jones, maybe take in, a 2-for-1, send out one contract and take two on so that you can break them up and make them a little bit more easily movable. And I think that's a fine approach. Like, I don't think it's ever bad to have flexibility. But for me, the issue is just the value proposition. You're talking about a team that last night after the first round, the general manager, Mark Eversley, gets up on the podium and says, we're valuing internal development. We're going to build, patiently. We're going to bring this thing up organically. Mm-hmm. And then you turn around the next day and sell a second round pick. Like, those are, you're not guaranteed to get anything in the second round. The guy who ended up going 45th overall was Rocco Zikarsky. That's a player that a lot of people were excited about potentially getting in the second round. Could have been a draft and stash for a year, could have been a two-way, or maybe they just like made space for him on the roster because they were able to make other moves. And maybe like Lachlan Olbrich is not worse than Rocco. Maybe like he ends up being better. It's not so much about that. To me, it's more the process of deciding the cash here is more important than the investment in our assets, which is the only real assets that we're putting towards team building right now. This is not a team that last night they said they're not tanking. This is not something that they're doing. They made that very clear when they were 22-33 at the All-Star break, traded their best player, and then decided to make a push for the play-in. This is not a team that is going towards the bottom anytime soon. At the same point, they're taking the slow and patient approach. They're not pushing their chips in. They're not making a big trade. They're not taking advantage of this wide open East, is what Mark Eversley said after media last night. And so, okay, you're not going to go all in. You're not going to go all out. How do you build? You got to build organically. You got to build through the draft. Then invest in draft picks. Like, don't sell the draft picks. Maybe you package a couple picks together to move up, and you can go get a guy. There was a couple of players that I liked in the early 30s. Rasheer Fleming was kind of the prize of the second round, but Maxime Reynaud, Ryan Kalkbrenner, I think could have been really valuable players for the Bulls as they move forward who kind of fit their system. Or you get multiple picks in a future second round, or maybe you package a couple of those to move up into the first round one year.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just like asset management process of valuing these picks more than valuing whatever amount of cash that they got to move back 10 spots. Again, this is not a very deep second round with the NIL money. And so it's not like the worst thing that's ever happened by any means. It's not like a fireable offense, like the pitchforks and whatever. But it's just like, it feels like the same old Bulls doing these like kind of workarounds, not really like fully being aggressive. You see a team like the Suns today just wheeling and dealing second round picks to be able to maneuver their way into 2 or 3 picks in the second round where they're getting guys. Kobe Brea, I like as a shooter for them. Rasheer Fleming, adding that to Mark Williams and Kamen Maluach as a guy who can be a contributor and potentially like a rotation player from day one. And like, I'm not saying that Rocco Zikarsky would have been that if they had stayed there, but maybe the Bulls move up and get a guy, or maybe you just turn that into something else that can help you. And you just have to keep stacking those things. Like, stacking good days is a very common trope that you hear from players about like getting better every day. And I think it's the same thing with team building. You just have to like keep making the move that gets you to the next move so that you can eventually look at your pot of assets and have some stuff in there.
Some psychotic Bears fan might say brick by brick. Another way to say that. Look, I'm like less crazy Peck, Bulls fan mad about the whole trade down today. Like, fine, whatever. Would I have preferred a couple of future second round picks instead of cash? Yeah, obviously. The bigger problem to me is that I just don't think that AK is really good at figuring out how and when to use picks, how and when to trade picks, how and when to reaccumulate picks, and how to value them. Like, and again, we talked about this a little bit earlier on in tonight's show, but to me, the one that I'm going to lose sleep over wondering about is not who the Bulls could have had at 45 if they didn't trade down tonight.
Yeah.
Like, small freaking potatoes, y'all.
Agreed.
The bigger one that has been discussed is the Pelicans really threw that offer at the Hawks to move up to 13 to take Derek Queen. You have to imagine that the Hawks picked up the phone before that and called AK and said, what do you want for number 12? Because here's what we're willing to offer. And if it was the same package that Atlanta got, including an unprotected first-round pick next year from a Pelicans team that looks like it's not going to be in the thick of the Western Conference playoff hunt next year, if the Bulls got that same call 10 minutes earlier and got that same offer 10 minutes earlier, that to me is a much greater example of malpractice and negligence when it comes to how and when to use your draft picks in negotiations.
Without a doubt.
Because you're still feeling good about getting a player in the early 20s who's on the board in the early 20s in this class, and then having your own pick and an additional unprotected first and another very talented draft class next year for your young rebuilding team. That's what bugs me tonight more than trading from 45 to 55.
No, without a doubt. You hit it on the head, and I told you earlier in the show it's why I don't like thinking about it. Because if it's any validity to that, oh my God, like I can feel my brain starting to ooze out of my ear. Like it just doesn't make sense. And I want things to make sense, and I want it to be better. Like I remember talking about how I wanted the Bulls to just have a strategy going into this draft. And I wanted them to exhaust all possibilities in this draft. Like have a true plan when you walk into this draft. Like if people are calling, answer the phone. Look, see who wants to trade up, see who wants to trade down. Make the moves you need to make, and then make your decision. So no, nobody's mad about who they picked. But if you're telling me that's the case, that means you did not exhaust all possibilities right there. Because if a guy is giving you this deal, and you still could probably walk away with who you wanted, and you turned it down, especially how it could shore up your future maybe even next year, unprotected from that squad. I don't like thinking about that. But you're right. Like it's not more so about the second round pick, like, oh man, they traded down. It was just disappointment because it felt like more of the same.
Yeah. And to me, it's like it represents the idea that like maybe they are not looking for value wherever they can find it. It's just like, let's do our business and move on. And
yes,
look, I think that trade was like, I mean, that's going to be like a trade people talk about for years and years to come of like, why on earth would the Pelicans do this? You have to imagine the Bulls got the same offer and they just want to keep their guy. Obviously we don't know that, but like the Bulls picked one pick before. You imagine that the Pelicans were calling every team to see if they can move up because Derek Queen was their guy. I thought that was a real missed opportunity. I probably would have done the trade just for that pick. Obviously, moving back to 23 is great too because you obviously stay in this draft. But that pick's just going to be really valuable. And I think generally speaking, we're talking about a common theme, which is that draft picks or future draft picks or potential to move up in the lottery is just not something that this franchise really values.
Joey Bass got in the comments that apparently the Pelicans had somebody in their staff that came from Atlanta and helped them facilitate the trade. Even if that's true, it doesn't mean that they didn't call the Bulls before they called the Hawks.
Correct.
Because guess what? They were probably also worried about the Bulls taking Derek Queen.
Yeah. It's a possibility, a true possibility. He was mocked to the Bulls in several drafts.
NBA execs doing their jobs in war rooms on draft night. I would be beyond shocked if the Pelicans did not call the Bulls.
And that's why, like, that's where you have leverage. You go, oh, you guys want Derek Queen? We were going to take him. What are you going to offer me?
Right. Give me what you want.
Which again, and that's kind of what goes back to what you just said. It's like it seems like AK lives and operates in his own little world, not paying attention to and connecting the fibers to how to like coexist as an NBA front office executive and get yourself some wins while interacting and co-inhabiting the space and time and players and contracts and picks with other executives around the league. Yeah. It's just like, Bulls fans have felt like this for a long time, I feel. Whether it's AK, Eversley, Gar, and Pax, it's like we come away from the dinner feeling like we were the schmucks invited to dinner. Like, why is it always us who feel like we're getting hosed, we're getting robbed, we're getting the short end of the stick, is a phrase I saw somebody use in the comments a little earlier. Why is it always that? Why do we never walk away thinking, man, we really great trade, fair trade. Both teams got something they wanted. Right. But I feel like we got the winning side of this.
And majority of people feeling that way, not split down the middle, you know what I'm saying, about it. Like,
never.
oh man, dude, like, yo, everybody agrees we won this one. Everybody feels like we got that one. It's been a long while. Like, I was at home thinking to myself, man, when's the last time? This is probably the first time in a while that I saw you happy about a Bulls move. And then I started thinking, when's the last time has Matt been happy with a Bulls move? You know what I'm saying? Just like overwhelmingly, like, yeah, I'm with this. And even this one was like, I don't hate it. You know?
Yeah.
I'm just talking about like overwhelmingly, like, yeah, this is the move right here that we're making. That's the feeling you want. When you see front offices doing things and making moves, you don't want to come back and be like, huh? What? I don't know about that one. Okay, we'll wait and see. All right. I mean, you know, you don't want that. You want to say, yes, all right, that makes all the sense in the world. I love it. This is great. And everybody that you know is feeling the same kind of way. Even though they may have reservations on it, but they can look at it and say, oh, this makes sense. Even if you don't agree with it, you can look at it and say, it makes sense to me. Okay, this is why they did that. I get it. Too many times I've looked at it and said, man, I don't know what they're doing. And I don't like saying that. I don't like feeling like that. Like my front office does not have a firm grasp on the team and what's going on, not just on the team, but around the league, bro.
And what's weird about it is like they did a deal like with Lauri Markkanen where they got a player that could help them today, which was Derek Jones Jr. and a lottery protected pick. Like they know that process exists. They've done it before. But I think it bears reiterating, which is that like it doesn't leave you feeling like this front office like turned over every stone looking for value in every possible place where they could put themselves in the best position. It was just like, we like this guy. And I think Mark Eversley even talked about it with KC last night, that like this wasn't a situation where I guess they like had Modest higher on their board than they did Asenge this year. Mm-hmm. So like I think Modest fell much further to them at that point. It's like, okay, we got to get this guy. He's in a much higher tier. Mm-hmm. Like you take him. But I think Asenge was like kind of around where they were drafting him, and maybe they just didn't feel like the value of moving back 10 spots was good enough. It sounds like people are saying the Pelicans offered this to every team after 9. I haven't seen anything about that, so I'll keep looking. But so other teams passed on it too. Like you can't kill him too hard in that sense. But like I don't know. I guess Colin Murray Boyles and Kamen Malowich to me were like a tier ahead of Asenge. I think Coward, same deal.
Yeah.
And I liked Asenge. Like I don't think this is a bad pick.
Right.
But to me, it's just like let's think about the process of building a team. Mm-hmm. What is like rule number 1 that we're like, this is how we are orienting everything. To me, it's how do we find value so that we can move forward with the best asset pool that we can. Mm-hmm. And like getting a future unprotected pick from a lottery team who was the 4th worst team in the league last year, that's like, sign me up.
But even all those teams passing on it, I think the point is we always feel like the Bulls are that team, though. Yeah. Like all the time that passes on it and doesn't take that risk and doesn't do that thing, which is what stokes the fires of exhaustion from Bulls fans when that kind of stuff happens. It's like, again, over and over again and again and again. Okay, all these other teams passed on it, but dang, it seems like you do it all the time. And that's the frustrating part about it, is we know this story. We've seen it, have read it a million times, man. Whether it's second-round picks get cash considerations or first-round picks that you're trading guys for, or you're giving up players that were stars here for other guys that you just didn't think would turn out to be those kind of players, like, or you're trading, like two picks to get a Doug McDermott or something like that. Like, it's just all that kind of stuff.
Oh.
You know what I'm saying? That
right before the buzzer of round 2, we got to throw out a Doug McDermott reference.
You see what I mean?
Come on!
You see what I mean? Yeah, that feeling right there. That's what sits in the pit of stomachs of Bulls fans.
Right here.
So when this stuff kind of happens, it feels like par for the course, and that's not a good thing.
Gentlemen, while we were having that super happy conversation, the Rockets made the 59th and final pick of the 2025 NBA draft, and it's the 4-year guy out of Tennessee, Jemai Meshack.
Shout out.
Who has an all-SEC defensive nod to his name.
Shout out to all 4 years of college. Sir.
4 years all at Tennessee.
Yeah, congratulations, man.
You rarely see that anymore these days.
Yeah, very rare.
You got it. JAHMAI MASHACK.
All right.
Jemai Meshack.
Shout out.
Going to the Rockets.
So that wraps it up, right?
That wraps
that's
it up.
a wrap.
We did it.
A couple of two-way contracts coming in for the undrafted market. I'm sure that will continue on. The
And I
Bulls
believe,
have two two-way spots open.
Gavoni mentioned that Olbrich, their Aussie big man, is intended to be a two-way as well.
Yeah, I was not able to confirm that. I don't know if that will come out officially
We'll see.
soon, but I believe Gaboni.
All right. Well, we can get out of here. 9:30. We got through this faster than round one, so that's
All right.
great.
All right.
And shout out to everybody who hung out with us tonight. Still well over 600 people watching live late on a weeknight for round 2 of the draft. I don't know why the NBA had to separate it. Obviously, parentheses, money. But we had 2 draft shows instead of 1.
Yeah.
So that was fun.
Recognition for the youth as well.
Oh, of course. The youth.
It's the youths.
Shout out everybody who was hanging out with us last night's draft show, earlier this afternoon when we had our Eversley press conference breakdown show with Uncle Will in studio, and for hanging out with us again tonight. Much love and appreciation. Shout out to everybody who threw us super chats. Shout out everybody hanging out in that chat all day today and yesterday.
Hey.
In the meantime,
Can I say something?
sure,
real quick?
you sure can.
I want to give a huge, big shout out to Katie,
Yep.
to Emma,
Yep.
Yeah.
to Steven,
Yep.
and the staff, and
Sarah.
the work that, and Sarah and
Bear.
the work that they are doing on this production behind the scenes, man. Like, if you all could just see it and know what is happening, it is incredible. It really is, the stuff that they are doing and putting out, and the time that they're doing and putting it out. Hardworking and making really awesome stuff, man. Like, just wanted to give that love to them. They've been absolutely outstanding.
On top of that, shout out to some of our other graphics team people, Sydney and Dwayne and everybody else
Yes.
who works hard to make those graphic packages for not only CHGO but across the whole network for big stuff like Draft Night, NBA Draft last night and tonight. It truly, it takes a village to do these big time shows like this with all the news coming in last second, all of the graphics, all of the stuff that gets shared around our various socials in a timely fashion. That is everyone working their butts off behind the scenes, just like they do every other day. So appreciate them. And of course, the queen of the controls herself, Katie. Katie, did we get the likes that we needed?
I'm happy with the number. Yeah,
Katie's happy with the number. We could use some more, guys.
I could use some more subscriptions.
Hit the like on your way out if you haven't done it yet.
Yeah, if
Hey, did
if
we
you didn't
crack
already know,
85K?
we did not.
We
We're
have
very
not.
close to 85K.
wow.
Hit the subscribe button, and yeah.
Hit the subscribe. Because we did 2 shows today, we are going to be sans show tomorrow unless there's any sort of breaking news. So
Why would you put that into the universe?
there won't be. It's the
Matthew.
Bulls. They made a pick yesterday, and they made another pick today, and AK said, done. See y'all in a while, maybe. I don't know.
But
Free-
I think next time
free
we're
agency
back,
starts Monday.
Free agency starts Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
This
Are we
coming
gonna-
Monday, June 30th at
Yeah.
what, 5 Central Time?
5
is when
Central
the
Time.
free agency window officially opens. So, of course, the first thing the Bulls fans will be looking for is news on a Josh Giddey contract.
Sure.
So we will be here on Monday for the opening of free agency, and we'll see what happens then. In the meantime, read all of GOAT's great stuff from last night and today, breaking down the draft picks, breaking down Eversley's press conference. AllCHGO.com is where you can find that. Sign up to become a CHGO diehard if you aren't
Outstanding work
already.
by this young man.
Truly. I mean, on top of the diehard draft guy, that was absolutely incredible. Go listen with this stuff, and he cracks it out of the park every time. We got a diehard sale going on, just $36 for your first year. Sign up now. Take advantage. Get access to all of that diehard only content on our website, plus the discounts on merch, plus the Discord hang, all the other perks. Will_Gottlieb is where you can find the Quaff. Big Dave, bow, BAWL Sports. I'm Bulls_Peck. We are CHGO_Bulls. And we love and appreciate you, our fellow Bulls fans out there, for tuning in every single time. Have a great night. Have a great start to your weekend. We will talk to you on Monday. See you, Rebby. Good.
Peace.
We all silly like the mayor.